Oh, welcome to Good Friends, Good Games. It is the 22nd of October. This is technically the scary Halloween time. So, woo. Yeah, look at that spoopy shirt. I love it. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do this. Okay, so welcome. It is noon 15 on the West Coast. It is 3:15 on the East Coast. Everyone's enthusiasm right here. We got a spoopy shirt on Dill. Zenith's just got this look of passive aggressiveness in his face or something. I don't know. We can't figure him out today. Tell us what's going on, Zenith. Do you need a hug? Do you need a soda?
No, I'm good. Just, I'm just glad that we can, finally start like a podcast, pretty good. We weren't talking about you taking a big dump before the show while you're away. We also weren't, Eric said I thought your joke about me will be me jacking off as I'm going to like fill in the water while I'm away while you guys are starting the recording. No, none of that today. We are good beans today.
I can't tell if hope Hannah has that fucking verbal warning form figured out and drafts it up. I think it's time we break that out. Low key, if we ever had if this thing ever got to the point where we actually had to do all that kind of stuff,
I think the first one written up.
No, I think the form, I would have talked to Hannah about it, but I think the form is just going to say verbal warning at the top, and then it'll say reason, and then they'll all just say you're an asshole, and then you just sign off on it and then call it a day.
Well, the thing is that, those games came from your words. They were words from your mouth. And so
I know, I'm going to write myself up like Eric Corralda's reason,
Yeah.
I
just wanted to use it against you.
What do you put, like infraction description or whatever, and it just says asshole. But
yeah, I thought about getting an infraction for having an asshole will be something that would be left up to our mod, but okay.
I'm sure Morgan can vouch for you.
You imagine, I'll be straight honest with you. I don't want to dish these things out. I don't think Hannah wants to dish these things out. So it would probably come down to someone like Morgan or Carla or even Pal, where it'd just be like, hey, you got to go handle this. Why am I doing it? I'll be like, I don't want to do it.
It's your job to.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I would pay them all. They would all have salaries.
Yeah. You pay me, therefore you have the right to yell at me. Wait, that just sounds like the corporate world.
It does. Capitalism at its finest.
I'm not yelling at anybody. I don't yell. I'll just be like, yo, hey, Zenith did that thing.
I can't wait for my first time to be written up because of being an asshole on stream.
It cost us money. It'll be like, dude, we got to write you up for this.
How dare you?
Your whack off comment pissed off Pizza Hut and cost us, 10 grand.
But
I had the.
Yeah, but then again, I scored you a sponsorship from Magnum Condoms.
Damn.
Which one pays more?
Depends on how much Magnum Condoms are used.
Yeah, but then again, you pair them together and we could have the ultimate date night commercial.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
You know what I've seen an awful lot, what a lot of podcasts do is getting sponsored by Manscaped.
The ball shaver, right?
Yeah. I have so many. If we actually get them as a sponsor, I'd be like, hey, have you ever mowed the lawn? No, not really. It's not really the best idea. However, with Manscaped, you can literally take your balls to a spa.
Yeah. What was
the
other one? Oh, the Blue Chew. Have you seen the Blue Chew ones that are floating around with a chewable Viagra or something like that?
What?
Wait, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
chewing gum, but Viagra. Hey, have you bitten down
all
on
you
something
chew, the
and just
harder
gone
you get.
Woody.
I guess it's more discreet. You're on your date and you're winding down dinner or whatever.
How's that going to be discreet when your penis is literally trying to get out of his pants? Jesus.
I don't know, but I'm gonna guess it's not one of those things where as soon as you take it, it's bam.
it's a gradual lift. Okay.
Yeah, like any pill's got to get through your system, like, and it's got to like, you take a NyQuil, it's not like it knocks you out right then and there, like it
Oh,
settles
that's a
in,
shame.
it winds in your system. But wait, what the hell is this?
No
I
one wants
get a
to
lot of
know.
this chat. But yeah, so yeah, there's Blue Chew, there's the Manscaped. I don't know what the other ones are. They're all over the place. Like all the YouTubers and stuff, they all sponsor the same thing.
Yep.
Manscaped has a massive like marketing budget. Apparently, they could
Yeah,
just
it seems
go
so.
to podcast to podcast.
If we somehow get Manscaped sponsored, we should totally get like Hannah or Leshy to try and do it. All right, so tell us about you.
Tell us about Manscaped.
Oh my
Try it.
God.
Go ahead and try it.
It would be one of those things where I think we would actually like put it to the test and be like, okay, Zenith, go to the restroom, use Manscaper, and then come back and tell us how you feel.
My balls feel breezy.
Yeah, it feels so free. Oh, then we'll just take like a round table. I'll be like, all right, I'm next. Let's see what happens.
The round table of balls.
Yeah, the Elden Ring.
Also, Leshy, Hannah, if you guys are listening to this podcast
shit.
in the future, I apologize.
It's
All
all
right.
don't worry, we got the drafted form. You're an
I'll be
asshole.
first.
Sign here, please. This will go in your file. Zenith, I can't believe we have to come back here. You were an asshole last year. Now you're an asshole again. What's the problem? Talk to us. What can we do?
Don't worry. I can't wait to be an asshole next year.
Yay.
Yeah. What have you guys been up to aside from ball shaving and other?
Oh, I don't know. I've been I've been doing as I usual. I've been editing. I've been working. Been playing horror games, and I've booked time off from work next month. So that's really nice. Yeah.
What are we gonna do on our time off? Are we staycationing?
No. Well, yeah. I'm staying. I'll be staying at home, and it's the week the Pokemon comes out. So I'm literally gonna be playing Pokemon all week.
You did that thing, huh? Where you were like,
Yes.
I'm gonna take time off for Pokemon.
I've got the time saved up. I just went to my boss. Hey, can I have a week off, please? He didn't question it.
Oh, sure. You going somewhere? Yeah. What the hell is it? The Okana region or something like that? That's what you tell him. I'm going to the Okana region.
They didn't ask me for a reason. It just asked me when I wanted it off, and it was just like, yeah, I can sort it out for you. He's not kind of one of those people who likes, why do you need this time off? He's just like, yeah, when do you need it off?
Oh, I'm not saying it in that sense. I think it's one of those things where it's just kind of like, oh, you going anywhere? They like make small talk out of it. Oh, you going anywhere? What you gonna do?
My boss didn't. He literally just like didn't question it at all.
It's like, good, get out of my hair. See you next year.
I don't know.
I'm in that. Funny you bring that up because I'm in this boat where I need to take time off because I only roll over like 40 some odd hours into the next year, and I'm sitting on like 90 or 100. So it's like, and
for time off.
Yeah, for time off, and I already took off like the Christmas time. Like I already put that time in for a week, so like I've got like another 45 hours I got to scrounge up somewhere.
I haven't had a day off since the start of the new year for a holiday, so I had like 130 hours saved up.
God damn.
So I've just used the like 35, 40 hours there for the week off.
It's so wild too because like I said, I'm at this point where it's like, oh, I've got to like take time off because I'm gonna lose the money. Plus, they want you to take it. Yeah. And then I'm at this time of the year where it's like, oh, everyone else has already taken time off in the times that I would take time off, and it's approved. So now I'm gonna have like random scattered, like one day here, one day there, blah 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 blah.
You don't get that time off.
Well, then you just don't stop working. That's the thing.
Well, it's kind of tough when you're kind of self-employed, but yeah, I don't know what time off is.
Are you going to do the whole self-employed? Are you going full in? I'm curious. You don't have to disclose if you're not to, but you think you're going to do this whole thing, self-employment, and go for it?
I don't exactly like it because I actually had a bit like a transparent conversation with my community yesterday, and I said, look, I don't exactly like the idea that I don't where like income isn't guaranteed. I like having something on this side, and not having something on this side, especially that's making me money right now, kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. So I'd rather, if anything, have like a something I can commit to like 3 days a week without sacrificing too much of Twitch podcasts or anything like that.
Yeah, you want the hybrid. Like you want the hybrid model where you work like part-time, like a normal gig,
Yeah.
and then do your self-employment gig. Yeah, no, that's respectful. And kudos to you for actually talking to like communities about that, where you're kind of like, I don't want to have to depend on you guys for income. Like that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I don't like it. Like heck, it's kind of why I also had like a conversation talking about because Twitch has been having like all these ad incentives where if you roll stream a certain amount of hours, you roll a certain amount of ads for every single hour, you could actually get yourself like a flat payment. For example, there's one where if you play 3 minutes of ads per hour, you can get $300.
Yeah.
And that's just for 1 month. And turns out like the more you do it, like the more ads incentives they start to get a bit crazy. Like there's a friend of mine, I think they were offered something um like like $2,500 for running like 5 minutes of ads per hour. I mean, yeah, that's a lot, but it's like that's per month. Yeah, go get that. Go get
Right.
that bag. Go get it.
Yeah.
Go get
I
that
feel
bread.
like, because I thought about it here. We're obviously not in that position yet where those emails are coming in, but I thought about it here, and it's like, well, I can run the ad incentive stuff, like you said, a reasonable number, like $300 for, 3 minutes on the hour, every hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought about it where I was like, okay, this podcast on Twitch, at least, this would only affect Twitch. So it'd be like, okay, 6 minutes of ad time, but then I got $300 that I can divide up amongst the expenses and then, give the rest to the team. And then as the incentive gets higher, right? Because it goes up to like $1,000 for like 10 minutes of ads on the hour or something like that, right? Like it gradually climbs, I think. The more you get, then the more time you can run. And then I thought about it, I was like, okay, well now let's say this is just a broad number because I don't know the exact number it would be, but like let's say 10 minutes of ads on the hour, but then it's $1,000. So it's like, oh, that's $1,000 that can go to cover the expenses and then pay give the guy divided up amongst the rest of the team and stuff like that. So like I'm in that fence where it's like, okay, I kind of want this whole thing to be interrupted because here's the other part where it's like, okay, we do the actual Twitch incentive ads, right? But then it gets to the other thing where it's like, okay, but then, we get fortunate enough to where we actually do a Manscaped ad or whatever. So now there's more ads on top of ads.
Yeah.
And it's
And
kind of
then
like,
you also have to consider you're annoying people that aren't subscribed.
right.
And that is the one thing that because when I was having it, it's like, like it'd be nice to have a bit of help without, trying to depend on people to, kind of
Right.
like support the stream. But but at the same time, it's like it just feels yucky. Where
Yeah.
it's like you feel like less of individual and more of a corporate entity, like where you have to like you can't go downtown and take the bus or subway without running into something like 50 ads along the way.
Right. And that's where I'm kind of like torn on the whole thing. And I think like Hannah is also, like when we talk about it,
Yeah.
like Hannah's also torn on it. It's kind of like, hey, but we can get the incentive, like, and actually, give it to Zenith and Leshki and Dill and Morgan and, Carla and Pow and like, divide it up, right? For their time and their efforts. But then, yeah, but we're also bombarding the viewer and the listener, at least on Twitch, with the ads. And it's kind of like that fine line where it's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong answer to it. If it was just myself, I would probably just be like, okay, it's screw. I don't need to run, 10 minutes of ads for $1,000. That doesn't seem worth it to viewership, right?
Yeah.
But like when it's like you have a group of people that are devoting their time and effort to help you and be a part of something, then it becomes a different balance where you kind of like, oh, well, we can compensate them. And like, like that's an opportunity to compensate them for their time and stuff and their efforts and everything, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's a weird balance.
Then there's the risk of people that are just watching this and they see it and they get annoyed by the ads and then they decide to, you know what, screw this shit. I just had like 8 ads in a row. I'm going to go watch something else.
Yeah, the ad thing is a very, very touchy subject. It's very touchy.
So intrusive.
Yeah.
And the fact that like they are not skippable, like remember when we were having this conversation last month, I believe, and we were talking about like a lot of these ads are so frequent and they're non-skippable. Like it's and when you're spending like 3 minutes waiting to try and watch your favorite streamer, it just gets so irritating and annoying, and it
Yeah,
sucks.
it's hard. We don't have this in the news section of the cast, but since we're on the topic of it here, we'll talk. I don't. It's their prerogative to do it and run their branding and their marketing or whatever how they see fit. But I don't like the idea of going out there and being like, "Hey, look, I've got offered $25,000 to run X amount of ads and blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah." It's like, dude, I don't
Yeah.
like. I don't. And truth be told, there's people. Some of these people that are posting this stuff, they're actually decent, nice people.
yeah.
But I don't like to. I don't. I
It's like
wouldn't even
waving a
call.
flag of like, hey, look how much I look how influential
Right,
I am.
right, and
We
it's
don't care how much you make.
right.
I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
be transparent with your community, fine, but don't like, wave it in on social media and be like, hey, this
If
is how much Twitch wants to pay me. Ha ha ha. It's why you don't. That's why like I never reveal how many subscribers I have unless if it's like a subscriber goal that I have on the stream. Because
Right.
like, I don't want to be that person that says, hey, look how much people have supported me. Because then that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
far
it's
more than
just
that.
like I don't know. And Hannah and I talked about this on the Good People show where it's kind of like we talked about how like influencers are getting out of touch.
Yeah.
Like they reach this certain level echelon of, content creator and influencer and then out of nowhere they're kind of like now they can no longer relate to the tier that was below them and where they were at. Because they're getting multi-million-dollar deals and all this stuff. You're getting $50,000 to dance in a Sheen outfit on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like just be humble, people. Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
I
just
mean,
be humble.
I've seen content creators that's get about maybe 200, 300 average people, and they like some of them have fallen out of touch,
Yeah,
and they're not like the upper echelon
yeah,
of Twitch streamers. Is just some of them think, hey, I've gotten here, and anyone that's kind of not been on here is kind of beneath me, and that sucks to see because like there's been a couple of my friends that were friends with me at the beginning, and then as soon as they hit that, like they just forgot who I was, and that's what that's whatever. It's like I don't need them to remember me so that I can have some kind of like
yeah.
badge of honor, but
I never wanted to be that person. And then like, it's just nobody's business. It's nobody's business how much revenue like my business takes in. It's nobody's business on how I spend it. As
yeah,
long as like and as long as but the other side of that coin is as long as the people that help me run it are taken care of, then it's nobody's business how I spend it or what the dealings I take. You know what I mean? Unless it directly affects the consumer, which would be the viewer. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
So, it's just this weird fine line. And I just realized I did not change the title on the stream here. So don't mind me while I do that. But, Zenith says he's got a hockey game or he's going to go watch the hockey game at the bar today. Hell yeah.
yep,
Night with the boys.
Yeah.
yep.
And then Bill's going on vacation. I haven't been doing much. I've been so busy with work that I haven't really had time to much to do anything. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm basically working like 2 jobs right now. So like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm Chinese finger trapped where like I can't like get out. And then no, it's a couple more months of this and then I'll like have fully swung over. But like it's been a little rough, but I've had time to play at least one game. I've had time to work on some of the stuff for here. I'm working on getting the clips compiled and we're gonna start throwing them up on the TikTok and the Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Morgan and Pow have pulled good stuff, so we're just gonna
Yeah,
start
yeah, I
compiling it
saw
all
that
and
stuff.
getting it up there. It's a work in progress. It's so much. And then last week Hannah and I recorded. Hannah made her comeback. If you did not
Mhm.
know or didn't get a chance to listen to that show, and it's news for you here, Hannah is also pregnant. and she is having a baby boy, and she's due in March. So like Hannah and Leshki are just in sync right now. They got
Yeah.
married about a year apart, just shy of a year apart, and now they're both pregnant at the same time, and they're both due around the same time. So congrats to both of them. Again, congrats to Hannah. Hannah shared she showed her baby bump. If you guys want to go watch that episode or listen to that episode, she showed off her baby bump. So I'm excited. It's so
Mhm.
weird that we're in this position now where it's like 5 years later after we all met each other.
Yeah.
That like this is just the life stuff that happens.
Hmm.
You know, never did I think Dustin and Hannah would get married. You know, never did I think. Yeah,
Because
go
like
ahead.
not only did we meet Hannah and Dustin, but we also met Leshki and Tom.
Yeah, I met Leshki and Tom.
So
Yeah. And we were all like
Honestly-
friends together. That was the best part of it. We were like all friends together and I remember hanging out with Tom and
Brian.
Yes. I don't know why the
Tom.
name skipped me all of a sudden. Feel bad.
You're
But yeah,
forgetting
Tom.
him already.
Well, I didn't want to be like Game Docs because I always called them the Docs. I always called them Game
Yeah.
Docs or that was their
That's
Twitch
what they
handle
were
at the
called.
time. But yeah, Tom and Brian, I remember hanging out, and I remember we were just hanging out at TwitchCon one year, and we were just like eating hot dogs or something, like watching people like on the boardwalk or whatever down in Long Beach, and we were just hanging out talking. It was good times. And then he was on the team with us, and oh god, why am I forgetting so many people's names today? I'm getting old.
Well, describe them.
Cosplay diver.
There you
Cosplay diver comes up wearing the Sin Squad like jerseys that
go.
we got.
God, yeah, I still have mine.
Right, I forgot. I forgot you were also in Sin Squad because I was as well.
Yeah. That's how we all met each other, and we thank Meg for that. We thank Meg for a lot, in the background. Meg's kind of doing her thing now, and she's off on the Xbox channel and doing her thing, and she's having a good time doing it. But like she made us all friends. But I just remember back to the story. Cosplayer diver walks up while Tom and Brian and I are just eating and chilling, and he's this Sin Squad jersey thing because there was an issue with the sizing.
Yeah,
we needed
was a
about
big
2
mess.
sizes bigger versus 1 size, and the thing is like halter topped on him. It's like halter topped on him, and I forget if it was Tom or Brian, but they were like, "How's it feel, buddy?" And he's like, "Well, my nipples are chafing." and then the conversation kind of just stopped there. But
yeah,
good times. But yeah, but I never thought like I would see Hannah I didn't think I'd see Hannah get married. I never thought the friendship would go to the point where you would see like them get married. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like it was like this real serialization or whatever. Like Pow and I are on a plane. I'm like, we're going to Florida to go watch Hannah get married to Dustin, who like I never thought would happen.
Yeah,
and it's the same with like Leshki and Tom. I didn't think Leshki and Tom would get married. Weird where life takes you, and the people that you meet on your paths, and it's just wild where life takes you.
Yeah.
It's just wild. And then, like both of you guys are both welcome in my home whenever you're in the country. Wherever you're in the States, you just call and be like, yo, I'm on the way to America. I need a bed for a night or two. I'll be like, bro, we got you.
I mean, I've said that I might be starting to travel again next year, so we'll see.
Let me know, and we will take you to the 7-Eleven again. Pow really is like waiting. Like Pow's just waiting. We were trying to figure out how we get to like Canada. We were trying to figure out how we could get to like the UK. It's like we gotta make this happen.
I think the thing you gotta think of when you go into the UK is you have to find where I am, because you don't know exactly where I am, do you?
I will find you.
I'm in Toronto. You can't. I have no shame.
Unless Dill's like in a hut on a corner of somewhere, I think we'll have a hard time finding him.
I'm in the north. That's all you need to know.
It's pretty like open and spread, like sparse there, right? Like it's just wide open.
Yeah. Where I live is A village that is in a county that is in a city that is in a greater county.
Damn. Speaking of
Um,
villages,
so the closest the UK places that I've been to Liverpool, I've been to
The place.
Manchester, I've also been to London. I also went into like a nice little town called Chester, and that place is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Chester's all right. Liverpool's nice. I've been to Liverpool before. It's quite nice. Manchester, it depends on where you go.
that's the
Like
one with the
where
soccer
Bottlenecks.
team, right? Like the Manchester, like
Yeah, like
yeah.
Manchester United and City are the two main teams that are in football teams that are part of like that area basically.
So before
Yeah.
we move on to the games, I'm always been curious about this because I see it every
So
time soccer time rolls around. So like Manchester's biggest rivalry is with who again?
Manchester United and Man City have a pretty big rivalry between them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Liverpool, Everton, Chelsea. I don't know. I don't really follow it too much. The
Yeah.
only reason why I know is because I work in a pub, so obviously we
And then
play
like pardon my
football.
ignorance, but like are these part of FIFA? Like or
No,
no, okay.
FIFA is its own thing. FIFA, the ones
Isn't FIFA
in
more national?
FIFA is the World Cup,
Yeah.
basically. Like the whole World Cup is just like international. Uh, Anything like in Manchester United and everything like that, that's more in the Premier League. That's like what they're a part of, really.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they also are part of the UEFA Champions League as well, but that's like more of a European one.
So
Gotcha.
one thing that I actually wanted to ask you, guys. So like Eric, you said that you would like open up your doors if Dill and I were saying, hey, let's go hang out with Eric for like a
Mhm.
weekend.
Yeah.
You know, fun times. So I have to ask, uh how much would it cost you guys to go visit Dill versus you guys to come visit me or for us to visit Eric?
I know for me, the last time I went, it cost me about $1,000, I think,
Did
in
that
total.
include your TwitchCon like spending budget or was that
Ye
just your travel expenses?
Including the spending budget, about $1,000 to 1,500.
Okay, so it was a grand in travel expenses, give or take, right?
Yeah, it would like
Okay,
half of the expenses was travel alone.
got you. Okay, I looked at this. Funny enough, I looked at this and it was on a whim, but I did it to London because that was the only thing I could really think of that because that was what
Mm.
you had to do, right? You had to travel to
I
London to
had to
fly.
travel from where I live down to London to Heathrow Airport and fly all
Got
the
you.
way to
Okay.
LAX.
So right now, and this is probably going to be an inflated price because of
Oh,
the holidays coming, but like right now, I can get a flight to London as low as $550.
that's not bad.
Right. So 550 on a 10-hour flight, you know, I'd probably spend a little more money and go like an Alaska or something like that, a little bit more of an upper scale airline, and that's more like 650. So $100 more. That's the travel. That's just the travel expenses to get there. Now, where I'm sleeping in the UK, who knows?
Yeah.
But
Ooh,
Premier Inn.
yeah,
it would be $985 for me.
to get to
Oof.
Dill.
You have to get the Dill.
Okay,
Ooh.
so let me see how much it costs to get to Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, LAX to Toronto is significantly cheaper. United, that's like $400.
Damn.
All right, Dill. It
Ooh.
sounds like we're gambling on Toronto. Dill, how much does it cost to get you to Toronto?
Cheapest flights to 2 stops, about £931.
Okay, so Dill pays about the same. Actually, it probably was cheaper to come to LA.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
700, I think, for LA.
Okay, so 2-1 says it's cheaper for Dill to come to Toronto than it is. You got to bite the bullet on this one, buddy.
All right. So for a flight to Toronto to Los Angeles, it is $225.
Wow.
That's it.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
Not bad.
What about you to LA?
Well, it depends if I can get one from my local airport.
Yeah. This is going to be an inflated rate, like I said, because we're coming at the holidays right now.
With one stop, £918.
Got you. Okay.
So it's actually cheaper.
Yeah, by about £13.
All right, Eric. So one day, Dylan and I are just gonna bust down your door, and he's gonna be Big Bird. I'll be Elmo.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to be full
Oh, well.
disclosure right here. I'll give you the tour. This is where you'll be sleeping.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
literally to the right of it right here, there's not much more. The stream can actually see the better view of the apartment here. This is a studio, but I think I can, if I roll out the stuff out of the way, I can get two air mattresses in here.
Okay.
I think we can do it, and then we'll stash the luggage in the hallway. I think we can do it, or in the kitchen. I think we could do it. I think we could do two here.
Sounds good.
Probably, yeah.
Because we don't need much right? We don't need bathrobes and all this kind of stuff.
Well.
You just need soap in the shower, right? And a towel or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
Yeah. Live recording of Good Friends, Good Games podcast.
You're just sitting on your air mattress like this, because that's the only room.
I was gonna suggest. All right, I'll take sitting on Eric's right knee. You can sit on the left.
If that were to happen, I think what I would do, honestly, I would just like rent a hotel for the day.
Yeah.
And then we would just makeshift it in the hotel for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Get one of those like fancy Airbnbs that has where you get to like your own kitchen and just make whatever.
The state of California, I think it was us in California. Like they're trying to put a stop to that.
Why?
Because what's happening is because if you don't know, like California has kind of a housing crisis. Because what's going on is these companies are just buying up all these homes and renting them out as Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And these companies that buy them out just have they have a finite amount of money, but it's more than the standard home buyer can leverage against, and they're just buying up these homes and they're renting them out as Airbnb. But California is basically turning into a rental market versus a housing market,
Yeah.
So now they're kind of looking at it where it's like, okay, we have to slow this down, or we have to figure out some kind of way to deal with it, because if you can't buy a home, then your risk for homelessness comes up and all that kind of stuff. And housing is expensive already as it is, but then like you're competing against these companies that have a exponentially more amount of money to spend. They can ask $500,000 over, they're not going to do that, but they'll ask $50,000 over asking, or $100,000 over asking, and stuff like that, and it's just done deals.
Yeah.
It's
out of curiosity, how bad is like because I'm assuming you rent your own house or your apartment.
Right, I rent. Yeah.
Okay.
And
is it too bad?
No, it's for what I pay here. I can go rent basically like a 1 or 2 bedroom in a place that's cheaper, and that's me. I got in at the right time because I got in during the tail end of COVID when people had like people moved out of the state and went to cheaper places when work from home was more like a thing and stuff like that. So there was all kinds of vacancies, and I got a pretty decent deal. So. In a nice neighborhood, and I'm near all these amenities. There's like a Target around the corner, so I can go shopping. There's a grocery store, a Costco, like literally a mile drive away and stuff. So I'm pretty fortunate for the position I'm in.
Yeah, I need to get out of my my apartment. It's like it's gone way up, and not only that, my building keeps finding ways to raise it more than what's legally what you can legally do. So, and we keep having taking them to court to try and be like, hey, you're raising it over this. Please stop doing that. And then they end up winning anyway. And then they also do shady shit. Like, actually, I mentioned this on the stream I think yesterday. And because when you have a swimming pool for your building, they can raise your rent by $50. But once you put away the pool, once you tear down the pool, then that $50 actually goes back to the tenants. But the thing is, though, they decide, why don't we just rip it all out and put like a couple barbecues there, and then it's closed half the time. And instead of us getting our $50 back, it's like, well, you guys have an area to barbecue. It's like,
They counted it as an amenity.
Yeah, it's like we have not been able to barbecue because closed half the time.
Dude, I hate shady shit like that.
Yeah.
That happened. That runs rampant in California,
Yeah.
where they come up with. We have statewide cap now because they saw what they saw the foresight to what would happen during the pandemic, and they had the foresight to be like, okay, we got to put caps on all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
we have caps, and it's based on like the region and the market and all that stuff, and they can only cap they can only raise it a percentage of that market rate and stuff like that. We have all kinds of caps and stuff in place, and then people be like, free market wins, da 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 da, and I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, God forbid I need a home over my head and a roof, you know. And then Hannah and I talked about this whole thing on the other show where it's just like their arguments make more money.
Money.
Yeah, let me go find another job to add to my two, you
Let's
know.
go find this money somewhere lying
Yeah,
around.
let me just
Yes,
grow
it
it.
is.
Oh no, don't do that because then it becomes worth it. Yeah, it's all fucking scammy when you think about it, dude. It's gotten worse. But on that note, let's go ahead and let's swing into some positive stuff and let's talk about some video games before we just get depressed about life
and everything. Jesus.
Before we start getting depressed about life, let's go talk about the things that make us feel good and let's go talk about video games. Okay, so we're all in spoopy mode, it looks like. Where's my sheet? There it is. We're all in spoopy mode. Although Zenith you're playing Bloodborne tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. On Discord last night, I decided to just mess around for a while in like character creation, so I have my character all set up.
Okay.
She's a good-looking redheaded gal.
All right.
Suggestions from my Discord community. But
was it from me?
yes, I mean she's got like that, like a bit of oh my gosh, what's it called? Like a British, you know,
British.
She's a little Brit. She's a little Brit.
She's a bit of a Brit.
I mean, to be fair, you are about to basically place the equivalent of like a night in London, so yeah.
Yeah. So I on that I haven't really been able to have time to
that's good.
To like play games aside from stuff on
How
stream.
long did character customization take you though, out of curiosity?
Probably about 40 minutes. I took my time.
I don't get too deep in it. There's people that like I noticed it on Twitch. Like there's people that will do whole streams dedicated to just a custom characterization like segment of a game. I'm like, where me it's like, okay, that kind of looks like it. Click, 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 boom, let's start playing. I'm one of those people. Are you guys the customizer? Like, do you go all in?
It depends on the game, but yeah, I prefer it if there is good customization. Like I'm liking that Pokemon, the new games, have shown that like before you even get into the game, they've actually got good quality customization options for your character. So I'm looking forward to that.
Do you here's a question for you guys. When you make your characters, do you make them look like you or do you make them look like what you wish you look like?
I make them look like wherever I want.
Okay. So you go like you're just like I'm making
whatever mood I'm in.
How about you, Zena? Do you make them look like you wish you looked, or?
So you see, I don't do that. I don't want my characters to look like that to me. For me, I care more about my character if it's a hot grill and she's like, damn, she walks in the room and damn.
Do the virtual booty cheeks jiggle when she runs?
Basically, in my world of Soulsborne, no men exist except for the ones at the tail end of my sword.
The beasts.
Damn, some Game of Thrones-esque shit right there.
In Bloodborne, they're all basically beasts. They're not really like people anymore.
Okay, that's one of the ones I need to go back and play. I need to go play. I need to go play Bloodborne.
Well. I need to go back into my third playthrough to get the final ending because I've been meaning to for like 4 years.
I never made a first playthrough. I bought the game. I bought the game when I bought the PS4. And everyone was like, yeah, get Bloodborne. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll buy it when I got the PS4.
I got my copy on a whim because I never played any of the Soulsborne games before. Bloodborne was my first one. And I think it was recommended to me. No, wait, I think Meg was playing it, and it intrigued me. So I bought the Game of the Year edition, which came with the DLC content. and from then I was hooked. And then from then I played all the rest of the Soulsborne games, Dark Souls 1 to 3. I got Sekiro when that came out. Obviously Elden Ring. And then I got the Demon Souls remake when that came out on PS5. Like, when I got my PS5, the two games that I got was Demon Souls remake and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
So
Okay, let's go
um,
through this real quick here, since we'll go since this is segment. He's playing tomorrow, and this is Zenith's segment. You played Bloodborne already once, right, Zenith, or no?
yeah, Bloodborne was the game where I destroyed my headphones.
Okay, that's right.
Never
That's
finished
right.
it.
That's right. Okay, Morgan, if you're
Ooh.
in the chat, Morgan, get your clip button ready here. We're gonna
Yes.
hash this out here real quick. We've got 5 slots. All right, we got 5 slots. Where are we putting the Soulsborne games? So are we all in agreement that Elden Ring's number
Ooh.
1?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
Elden Ring is number
absolutely.
1. I'm going to put this in the chat right here just so we have a note of it here. All right, Elden Ring is number 1.
Yeah.
So now we got
Actually,
4
can you make them
slots.
6 because don't forget Sekiro.
True.
No, we've got 5 slots. Like, this is the 5. If whatever one doesn't make it, it don't make it.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So we got the 5. Okay.
Bloodborne be number 2 then.
You think Bloodborne's number 2? Okay,
Number
I
2,
can't comment
absolutely.
on Bloodborne because I didn't get enough in it, so I'll leave this one up to Zenith. Where
Dark
does
Souls
Bloodborne?
1.
You like Dark Souls 1 over Bloodborne? Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Dark Souls 1, I would put it number 2 if it wasn't for the fact that it's quite an old game by this point. And
That's a
so
good point too.
therefore
Are we going the
doesn't-
remaster as number 2, or are we doing the original release?
The
Because the
re- if it
original
was the
release is
remaster-
abysmal.
Original release. I don't know if I prefer that over the remaster. Because the remaster wasn't perfect because it wasn't made by From Software. It was made by a different company.
But it fixed a bunch of the shit the first one had.
It did fix a bunch of the shit. Yes.
I think 3 is number 2.
3, I would put 3, even number 3 or number 4.
I think
Yeah.
3 is the best of the Dark Souls games.
You are correct. It's the best
Yeah.
playing Dark Souls game without a doubt.
It's got the best combat. It's got
Yeah.
because the knock against Dark Souls 1 is the game feels very slow.
Yes.
And it's not a good Dark Souls to learn how to be good at the game because
Right.
Dark Souls 2 is actually what taught me to be to start getting good at the game.
So is 2
But at the
better
same
than
time
1?
though, I would put Dark Souls 2 pretty much last on the list.
Yes,
Okay.
I agree. I agree with
Okay,
that.
so that's a consensus right there. So we got number 5. Actually,
It's
there is
just
6 slots, right?
because-
There's 6 slots, you're saying? There's only one more game.
Yes.
Okay, so
With Dark Souls 2, the problem is they put in a lot of mechanics that don't really make sense. And
Okay.
that's why it's in the last spot, because like the whole thing of where like your health bar slowly drains the more that you die. The fact that it doesn't allow you to like rely on your flasks anymore. It has these like little shards of health instead. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
the
weird.
healing gems.
Yeah, the healing gems, which it didn't do again after like Dark Souls 2.
Okay, so we've
Also,
got
it's-
We've got Dark Souls 2 at 6, and we got Elden Ring at number 1.
Yes.
So
And
now
also
we've got
it's
4 slots
it's
in the
good
middle.
to mention that with Dark Souls 2, they had half the development team to work on it compared to Dark Souls 1, so that's why, to me, it wasn't a great quality game. If they had the entire team, it would have been a better quality game, in my personal opinion.
Okay. So we got Dark Souls 2 in last place here. We got Elden
Yes.
Ring at number 1. Is Dark Souls 3 better than 1?
Combat-wise, yes.
What do you think, Xena?
Story-wise,
Well, not just story-wise, I just think Dark Souls 1, what they did very well is how the world is shaped out, where everything is connected, but
Yeah.
also done in a way where it feels. Because in Dark Souls 1, you feel really isolated, and then you just go down this different path and say, "Oh shit, I'm back here," but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm way the hell up here, and where I was
It's like the
hours
vertical
ago in the game.
It was a vertical like progression, right? Instead of like sprawling out, you went up, right? Like you
Yeah.
climbed higher up a tower or whatever.
Because in
Yeah.
Dark Souls 1, like you think, okay, I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna keep going down here. Oh my gosh, I'm going so far down. I'm going really far down. And then you think that you've reached the bottom. No, you can go even further down. It's actually insane.
Hmm.
Like
I mean,
I'm thinking
that's-
Blighttown.
The thing about Bloodborne as well, because Bloodborne's a bit like a Metroidvania game where everything's in a loop-de-loop, where
Yeah.
everything reconnects back together. That's the whole thing. That's
So
one thing I like about
Is
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne better than Dark Souls?
I think Bloodborne better than Dark Souls.
Do you, Xena?
Um, I slightly put Dark Souls 1 over Bloodborne, but Bloodborne overall is the better game. 'Cause, like,
Okay,
it
so
was very, very
Bloodborne is
well.
going to be number 2. I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
Bloodborne, I think.
I'll
Dark
accept that.
Souls 1 can go to number 3 because Dark Souls 1, yeah, it's the
Okay, so
the
we're
building
saying
blocks.
Dark Souls 1 is better than 3.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so 2 is Bloodborne. 3 is Dark Souls 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so here's where we're at here. We got this list almost hammered out. Number 1, barbecue sour cream. 2, cheddar cheese and sour. They're discussing chips in the chat.
Now I'm getting hungry.
They're
Flaming
discussing
barbecue born.
Yeah, barbecue
Sour
born.
cream 3.
Nice.
Okay, so we have Elden Ring. We have Bloodborne. We have
Yep.
Dark Souls 1.
Yes.
Now all that's left is we have Dark Souls 3 and
What about the
Sekiro.
Demon
Oh no.
Souls remake?
Yeah, where's Demon Souls sit?
I
I realize I can't do this in chat. I need the notepad.
I can't vouch for the original. I've only played the remake. The remake is beautiful. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No, because it's Demon Souls. Demon Souls was basically the original before Dark Souls came.
I would honestly put Dark Souls 3 number 4.
Yeah.
6. Okay.
I think that's a good play for Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, because like it was really well done. It's just it didn't have like a lot of the love that Dark Souls 1 had, I feel.
Oh, so we're short a game because Dark Souls is in here. So it's actually 7 slots.
Yes.
Okay. So
There's like 7 Soulsborne games.
yeah, so okay, so we've got Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Dark
Yes.
Souls 1,
Yes.
Dark Souls 3,
Mhm.
and now we have the tie between. Okay, so that means Dark Souls 2 is 7.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
would put Dark Souls 2
now
at 7.
now here comes the
5 and
ultimate
6.
challenge because this is the one where everyone I think is kind of mixed in here. Is
Mm,
Sekiro better than Demon Souls or is Demon Souls better?
Demon Souls is better.
Really?
If it was the original, Sekiro was better, but if you're basing this on the remake, the Demon Souls remake to me is better than Sekiro.
I'm going to say
yeah.
remakes
Yeah,
because the
remake is
remakes are
better.
supposedly the definitive version to play, according
It
to the
really
dev.
is. Like if
Okay.
you haven't played Demon Souls remake, it is very good. It's difficult, yes, but once you get around and how it works, it's a lot easier for you.
So number 5 is Demon Souls.
Because like the thing is, if they do like Demon Souls 2, I would get it. If they
Ooh.
did Sekiro 2, I will not get it.
Mm.
Because I just didn't really like it. I felt that after a while, a lot of the bosses didn't feel rewarding because like the reward system after you defeat enemies just it felt empty in comparison to because like you beat like a boss in Dark Souls and you get about say 50,000 souls and say all right we have all these souls to pump it into like do a level up. In Sekiro you get a prayer bead.
Yes.
And a prayer bead is the equivalent of getting a piece of heart in Zelda.
Mm,
It's like, that's great, but that's not a new heart container.
got it. Right. The heart
You have to
container
have-
always holds the more value.
If I remember right, Sekiro, you have to have 4 in order to get a health up.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
never played Sekiro. It's actually on my list of things to play. I'm waiting for the price to come
Honestly,
down for
you should
Christmas.
definitely. I mean, here's the thing. I do agree that Sekiro is like not a perfect game. Honestly, like it has its flaws. But the thing about Sekiro that I think makes Sekiro what it is that it's a really beautiful game in terms of its environment.
It is beautiful, yes.
The lore and the story is to me is fantastic as well. I think that's really well done because it's so much like written lore and like everything that you can find. Honestly, so it allowed me to like follow the story pretty well. And the combat system was very nice. I did like it was basically the combat is basically a rhythm game where you have to like match the rhythm of the enemy's attacks with your own until you find an opening. That's what the whole like posture bar was in it. So you would you could deflect the attack, and it would increase the posture bar of yourself and the enemy. And if you filled up the enemy's posture bar, you could get a one-hit kill on them, but the enemies and for the bosses. And it was the same for you as well. Like eventually, if you run out of posture, you become vulnerable to an attack. It was quite cool, but
Yeah.
I gotta
in
jump
terms of
into
the
these
rest of
more.
them, like
It was cool. It was just frustrating. Like I didn't like because with a lot of the other Souls games, like you deal with the frustration, you deal with
mm,
the adversity, and then eventually you vanquish your foe, you're excited,
yeah.
and then on to the next challenge. For this, even after I beat the enemy, like I'm just like, good fucking god, I'm done. As
I
opposed
will
to,
say
hooray, I
with
did it, let's go.
Sekiro, I didn't keep a death count because I lost track. I died a
Yeah.
lot in that game. Oh yeah.
I got to jump into more of these games. So the reason I'm asking these kind of things is because, like I said, I have a new toy on the way. But before we get there, Morgan can go ahead and end the clip shortly here, or mark the clip. Here's your list, boys. Here's the list we decided in the span of 3 minutes. We've got Elden. Oh, I'm go backwards. So number 7 is Dark Souls 2. That is
Yes.
the runt and turd of the series.
Yes.
6 is Sekiro.
Yes.
And then 5, we have we have Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, we have Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, we have Dark Souls 1.
Yep.
And then number 2, we have Bloodborne. And then, of
Yep.
course, number 1, we have reigning champion Elden Ring. That is the Good People Media Group's breakdown of what we feel the best.
From software
We are
community.
always right. We are
Yeah, we're
always right.
We are
Always
right here
right.
from software community. If you come at us and try and cancel us, we will hide.
I will cancel you on this
Yes.
podcast.
All
We
right.
will
With my
cancel
finger.
you.
So
I will
there's
touch your
The
nose.
pointy finger, the finger meter.
I will make sure I don't cut my fingernails next time.
That sounds so painful, right in the eye. Some nasty saw level of shit. All right. There's the list. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, pal, for marking those up. Okay, so I've got Dill here. Dill is doing, because we're
Yes,
all
what?
kind of, Dill and I are in the same boat now, game wise here. So we'll
Yeah,
start
you
with
put
Dill.
Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
How long far are you in the game?
Okay, I'll go. Dill's gonna ask. Okay, so I'm
May as
about 3.5 hours in.
Okay.
I went and put it on Steam. I got it on Steam. I went and downloaded the HD mod to make it kind of like modernized or whatever. So I never, aside from just like watching clips or just like looking at it in a demo or something like that, I never really touched Resident Evil 4. Now, these
Same.
people, like, there's people that say Resident Evil 4 is not only the best in the series,
Yep.
but there's some consider it one of the best games ever made.
It is.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. I can understand why people honestly feel that it is one of the best games ever made. It is a good game. Which actually like. It was one of those games I hadn't played in a while, like since I think Elden Ring, where I just wanted to pick it back up immediately after I've like put it back down. Honestly, I got really into it and then played it. I think it took me about 14 hours in total to beat the main story of the game. In game time, and yeah, I enjoyed every except for obviously, of course, the big annoyance in the game, Ashley.
So
That's like
I'm not that far ahead yet. I haven't encountered her yet. But
Cool.
some stuff about Resident Evil 4 that's kind of like, number one, it was a huge shift it was almost a hurdle. It's a huge shift going from the Resident Evil, I guess, what do we call it? The 3rd gen, the 7, the Village, and the remakes. Like, it's a huge change going from those controls, which are basically first person standardized, first person controls, back to the quote unquote tank controls of the original games.
Yeah, I had to switch the controller to play it because I tried mouse and keyboard and it just didn't fit really
so that was
well
a
with
huge hurdle. I'm still kind of struggling with it, but granted, as people said in Reddit and stuff, the more you do it, the better you do get at the controls. Once you learn how to use them and how to navigate and stuff, like aiming with this thing is abysmal.
Yeah, Honestly, or you could just do what I did and just use a controller, and the controller just works a lot better with it.
That's
Honestly,
what
it's
I've been on controller. I've been doing an Xbox
yeah.
controller and all stuff, and like the aiming to me is still abysmal. Um, but there's some interesting things about this. I haven't played it enough to decide if I think this is one of the best games ever made or not. But I can definitely see why people are
I can
enjoying
too.
or enjoy Resident Evil 4, and I can see why
Yeah,
people love it. One,
it's
the first thing that gets me about Resident Evil 4 is it takes place, a majority of it takes place during the day. It's
yeah,
like a daylight setting, but somehow it still manages to capture this eerie, like
yeah.
horror element to it for something that happens during the day. That
It,
intrigues me.
it's the whole thing of like it's daytime, but you're in a creepy environment still, where there's no sound, no nothing. You're just walking through the path until eventually you get to like the house, and then start getting attacked by other people.
Yeah, that's the one thing, and this is kind of what 7 used in the first half of 7.
Yeah.
Like 7 uses this daylight environment when you get into that you know, dilapidated housing area, and you start
Mm.
running into this family, and
Welcome to the family, son.
yeah, exactly, and it's all daylight and it's creepy, but it's a whole different element of creepy. You have, these people that I'm not going to spoil what the issue is with them, but like you obviously have this group of people you're encountering that are not well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're uncomfortable to be around and stuff like that, and it creates this
Hmm.
element of fear. Like
Yeah.
what is it, where 4 does the same thing. You're putting this, like Dill said, you're putting this element where you don't know where you're at or what it is, but the thing that makes it is the music. The
Yes.
music in 4 is so creepy, and for the time frame that this game was made, I'm genuinely impressed with how the music carries the fear level in this game. When you're attacked, the music picks up and it gets more
Mm.
intense, and it's like it's scary. There's
It's
no
kind
real
of weird too,
yeah.
because like when you're in an environment where you think you've killed all the enemies, but the music is still playing, you're
Yeah,
like, "Oh shit, did I miss one? Where are they?"
and then you're hunting, and
Yeah,
then you're hunting for them to try and clear the area. It's incredibly well done, and I can see, like, for that time era, this had to be just next level. It's
Yeah.
one of
mm.
those things I kind of wish I played when it came out.
I wish I played it sooner. I will say I probably wouldn't have played it when it came out because I think I was like 9 when it came out because it was like
That's a perfect time.
2005.
It's a perfect time. Just sit there
I
with your
was a
morning
big baby.
cereal and,
I was playing nothing but like Pokemon when I was that age.
yeah, well, you get guys poking you with pitchforks here.
Yeah, you
So,
do. True.
yeah, but no, it's a well done game. Do I think it's the greatest game ever, one of the greatest games ever made? I haven't played it enough to determine that yet, but I can see why it's so well revered.
It's in my top 3 Resident Evil games now.
It's a completely different change of pace because I
Yeah.
remember the stuff from the PlayStation era of the first 3
Mm.
games, and it's a
Have you
wild change
seen
of
the
pace.
trailers as well for the remake,
Oh
the
my
new
god,
ones
the
that just
new
came out?
one. Did we talk about
Yeah.
this on the last show?
No,
We
I
didn't
don't
talk
think we
about the
did.
Resident Evil stuff on the last show? Okay,
I
so
think we've
Well,
talked about Resident Evil like the past few episodes because we're excited.
yeah, we were talking
yeah,
about the 8 stuff because the Village DLC is coming, which if you don't
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
I think it's 13 or 14.99 on Green Man Gaming.
yeah, I need to get that.
It's on sale if you need to.
But yeah, they came out with new trailer for Resident Evil 4 remake. It looks really good, and also like the lost like Plagas infected people look. You can tell they're looking well, like really tell it on like the lines, and like oh that bit as well where you encounter one of them and like his head is obviously completely like broken, like from the neck and everything like that. But
Yeah.
then you can see the parasites trying to worm its way out, and I'm like, oh god,
I don't
oh
know
shit,
what Capcom is smoking over there, but they're doing something right.
yeah,
Before we go, let's talk about what you're, because Dill, you've been playing a bunch of Resident Evil 2 for Halloween, I'm guessing. So
yes.
you just finished Sheet. Where you be? Oh, there you go.
RE4 and
Oh,
RE7.
I
yeah, you
finished both
finished
of them.
4. So we good with it. Do you finish 7? Is this your first time doing 7 or is this a replay?
No, this was a replay, but my first time doing the DLC content, and honestly, I somehow managed to speed run through it because My second playthrough took me about 6 to 6.5 hours to beat in total, whereas my first playthrough took me about 11 hours. And then doing each of like the storyline DLCs took me like about over an hour each, and that's about it. So in total, it took me about I think 9 to 10 hours to beat everything in total.
So in the chat here, we're gonna need you to comment on this statement here, Dell. It says it's confirmed that you pretend to be a Lego piece so that you'll get stepped on by Lady Mommy Dummy.
I mean, come to my stream on Friday, 28th of October, when I'll be playing Resident Evil Village DLC, and you might find out.
I was waiting to hear VR. I was like, oh, Dill bought the VR headset. He's going to go that route.
Yeah, the moment he's in the VR, he's like, look at my breasts.
I mean, I'll show that's a curiosity.
It's just Dill walking down like the whole time, the whole game.
Just
yeah. I mean, here's the thing also. I'm wondering like if you could play the mercenaries like sec mode in VR.
I don't think they made any announcements about that though, but that would be a thing. Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7 was pretty good.
7's I think 7's better than 8.
Honest answer, I think
better than 8.
Village is better than Resident Evil 7, if I'm going to be honest. I preferred Village to 7, not just because related to Dimitrescu, because I liked like all the characters, and I thought it was cool to combine like the level of horror they had in the previous game mixed in with the action from Resident Evil 4.
See, I think 8 loses its pace when you leave the house.
Yeah, the house is probably the scariest bit.
Well, I take that back. When you leave because I'm trying to remember, do you go to the creepy house and then back to the main mansion, or is it mansion, creepy house, and then you leave?
Lady Dimitrescu's castle is first, then you go to the house, which is the second, which was the creepiest bit of the entirety of the game.
That's actually one of the creepiest things in the entire series I've ever experienced.
That was a pants-shitting experience.
That was like Silent Hill.
But the game loses a bit of its polish when you're going through dealing with Moreau.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really creepy. It was more just annoying mechanics. And it was mostly just gross, if anything. And then what's his name? What's it, Heisenberg?
Heisenberg, Carl
yes.
Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his spot wasn't really creepy. It was, I mean, there was like a little part of it that was creepy when like the lights were turned off, but mostly it was I don't know, like I felt like you were pretty much at the end of the game, and at that point I was like, well, I think I'm ready to just
because it does loses its pace, because it annoyed me, because like I said, you're coming off one of the scariest things ever in the series. That house, that side house thing, that's the first time I paused and took a break.
Yes.
Almost in any video game. Like I paused and took a break because I felt like, oh God, this is intense. That's one of the freakiest things I've ever played in any video game. And to go from that moment down to almost this like action based, Saw like puzzle escape type of room scenario where I'm kind of like, okay, it loses that vibe. Because the first half is incredibly creepy and uncomfortable, and it's so good. Whereas
if you judge RE8 over like the first half, I would even say that was one of the best moments of Resident Evil I've ever played.
Yeah.
The last half of it is probably why I prefer 7, because 7 was consistently pretty much
7 is not as scary. 7 is creepy, but it's not, and it's kind of campy in some areas, but like it maintains this pace and this consistent quality of it, and it doesn't take too many huge shifts in what you're doing, and it makes for a good game. 7's the better game, I think. 8 is the first half of 8 is incredibly creepy, but 7 overall is a better game. Out of all of them, I think 2 Remake is probably one of the best things they ever did.
2 Remake is my top favorite out of everything.
Yeah. 2 Remake is one of the best things they ever did.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. It's to the point where 2 Remake is so good you want them to go back and redo them all.
Yeah.
Up until where they need to, obviously. Do they need to redo 5 and 6? Are they current enough?
They could keep that you could stop it at 4 and then maybe explore some of the other games, honestly. Like, I think a lot of fans want Code Veronica to get a remake. And then maybe Resident Evil 0 could possibly look into
Here's the
doing that too.
question. Here's the question. Do you think as the final surprise they're going to go remake 1 using the new engine?
Ooh.
Are they going to go
I
remake
don't
1?
I mean, they wouldn't need to, but they could.
Because the
Like, they
2
could do it.
remake, the 2 remake makes the 1 remaster look a little outdated, I think.
Yeah, but I think so. They could do it, if there's enough incentive. The problem is that I don't know. It depends on the fans because I think the fans are pretty satisfied with the like original remake of Resident Evil like 1. So
But I think
and the
they
2
need
remake was years in the making as well. Like it took a long time for them to actually remake that game.
the first one needs a I think the first one needs an overhaul in difficulty. I think the first one is incredibly difficult
Yes,
to
it is.
it's incredibly difficult to the point where almost someone will be turned off and not finish it. Now, there's a whole group of people out there that believe the difficulty should be maintained, but I think to really capture an audience for that game, because it really is a good game. The first one is really good, but
Yes.
the difficulty creates this huge hurdle for it.
Well, that's why in the 2 remake, which what made it good was that they literally they made it like a normal mode where like for new players, and then if the old school players wanted to play, they had a hardcore mode which would be a lot more limited on saves and be a lot more limited on ammo and everything like that, more like the original games were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it's good. So yeah, it's the Resident Evil month.
mm.
So much good stuff. They're talking about the house, the side house in Resident Evil 8. So,
If
before we go,
honest answer, PTA, if anyone wants to put anyone off having kids, just play this like scene where you encounter the fetus baby. That will put them off immediately.
yeah. But what was I? Oh, so we got a new toy on the way. We did it, boys. Here we go.
Congratulations on your new
Steam Deck
toy.
purchase.
My new toy. So, we have canceled the order for the analog pocket. And we will not be
Okay.
getting a high-end, modernized looking Game Boy anymore. And we cashed in those funds and we went and purchased the Steam Deck.
And now it's going to become an emulation machine, but a bit more expensive.
So let me talk about this a second before we go to the news. So this was a decision I was going back and forth on for a while. So if you don't know Analog, they make a device called the Pocket. Actually, I'll go back a little bit. The company Analog Incorporated, they make boutique retro systems. They are very, very high end. They cost several hundreds of dollars. God damn it, Xena.
Nice.
No, this is not what that is. We'll show off your collection first.
Dun 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 dun.
Show me. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Yeah. You're like, mine's homemade.
The show is sponsored by Bad Dragon.
Zeta just holds up like a empty paper towel tube with a Ziploc bag. But what was I saying? So yeah, so I went back and forth on this. So Analog Inc., they make these high-end boutique retro systems that are designed to play cartridges for all your old retro emulation games. But these are very, very high-end, aluminum bodies, HDMI output, the completely modernized versions of these original consoles. So the Pringles can's too big. So we sat there and we're like, okay, they have this device called the Pocket. It is a modernized version of a Game Boy, IPS screen like your cell phone, high resolution, bright colors, and then it'll take Game Boy Advance. It'll take all kinds of cartridges, including with these adapters, right? It's basically a one-size-fits-all for a handheld device. Now, I purchased it originally because I was like, well, a modded Game Boy Advance sits about $200. This device sits at about $250 after shipping and stuff, and I'm getting more options with it. And this was all pre-Steam Deck. I put that order in a year ago, and I was on the wait list for it for a year.
Yeah.
So finally, it got to the point where like, hey, we're getting ready to ship for the October, quarter 3, quarter 3 2022, which you're a part of. We need to know by this day if you're going to cancel or change address or whatever, or finalize the order. So I sat and I thought about this a couple of days with Pal, and me and Pal was like, I think you'll get more use out of a Steam Deck because you can basically put Nintendon'ts. You can go Nintendo. You can put Nintendon'ts on the Steam Deck because it is a PC in a handheld format. It'll take Nintendon'ts. So you can put Nintendon'ts, including the aquarium app, and play all your stuff that way on the Steam Deck. And then on top of that, you have access to your Steam library.
Yeah.
So now I have a one device fits all that I can just have where I go to the laundromat, or I don't want to sit at a PC or a desk, and I can just, lay in bed and play games before bed. So I made the plunge. I bought the Steam Deck. It's going to be here this week.
Nice.
And then I did a little trickery, and I learned, okay, do I need the high end, $650 model, or can I get the cheap $400 one? Aside from the anti-glare screen and the added Steam like bonus points type of deal, like the Steam, goodies, they're basically the same device except for hard drive size. So I bought the $400 one, and then I found out which hard drives SSDs they use, and I ordered one of those SSDs off eBay, and I'm basically getting a 512 gig model for about $150 less than their price. So it's on the way. The hard drive's on the way. I just need to get an SD card, and I will have a full report. But I'm excited to play the Resident Evil DLC on it. There's a whole mess of other games I want to kind of go and explore on a Steam Deck. And really, I want to spend some time with this device and see how much runway I get out of it. Because truth be told, I'm in this position. I'm at this point now in life where it's I don't necessarily want to sit at a desk and play games anymore.
Yeah.
I'm looking at other avenues, you could hook up a PC to your TV and sit on the couch and play that kind of stuff. I think the Steam Deck fits that mold really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have a full report for you guys when it comes in. I'm excited. I haven't been excited about a device in a minute. So any other game topics we want to bring up here before we go to the news? Which the Silent Hill thing's going to come up in the news.
Yeah. Just trying to think if there's anything in my
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Did we
same.
talk about the TwitchCon thing? What happened at the TwitchCon stuff? Did we talk about that? I don't remember.
Did we cover that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had discussed it. With the shallow foam pits, as well as
I don't remember. Sometimes I get lost in the time because stuff we'll sit here and finish the podcast, and then a day or two later, someone breaks their back at TwitchCon, and we're like,
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
And then we'll forget.
Those things.
Yeah, we'll forget. It's we'll know in a week or two if we talked about it or not. Okay, so I guess we did cover that stuff. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break, and we will be back. We're going to go ahead and we'll leave the chat and the stream up here. If you're listening on Twitch or watching us on Twitch, I'm sorry. If you're watching us on Twitch, YouTube, you're viewing a choice. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. If you're listening on your podcast platform of choice, we appreciate that as well. Apple, Spotify, Amazon Podcast, whichever one you choose, we appreciate it either way. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. This is Good Friends, Good Games. And we're back. Lots of conversation about beards and facial hair. And look at our boys here. I'm disappointed in myself because I did not own a red flannel. Now I got to go to Target.
Yeah.
And get a red flannel.
I'll go to Target.
Yeah, we're going to. I'm sure I got to get something today. I got to get.
All you need is for me just to show up here with a podium that says Turd Ferguson.
Turd Ferguson.
Yes. From SNL Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh god, that was good.
Oh, here we go with the chat. Dale, I don't want to grow it out. Eric, we'll get you. Gave me your choice.
You have my. It doesn't take much to get my attention.
Well then. Something about this look is reminding me of Stranger Things, but it's eluding me. There you go. Stranger Things.
I've yet to watch season 4 of that.
Oh, dude, you're missing out. Where the hell you been?
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
So here's the thing about what I've been doing lately in terms of watching stuff. I've not had an interest in watching any TV shows or movies, really. I've just been watching a lot of YouTube and Twitch streams, and that's it.
To be fair, I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch maybe 3 shows, and that's it. Pal watches a good chunk of TV.
I just gotta know. I'm just not in the mood at the moment for anything. Even new animes and stuff. I'm I might watch it one day.
My attention span has changed over the years. I have a hard time sitting down. I don't know if it has to do with just the cell phone thing or what, but my attention span has changed over the years for sitting and watching movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Twitch a little bit here. Let's talk about the Amouranth situation.
Yeah.
So, for those that do not know, Amouranth on a stream basically revealed that she had a husband and that the husband was controlling, manipulative, and I'm sorry, this is all alleged as well. I'm going to say that here just as a CYA. This is alleged. It's alleged, she alleged that her husband, was abusive and controlling and really basically when you come down to it, kind of the mastermind behind her whole streaming career. Um, she was instructed to not state she was in a relationship or married because it would affect the marketability of her platform, etc., etc. And then she pretty much put it out in the open on a cell phone call live on stream. This is I don't know how I feel about this thing. This is a hard one to swallow because obviously, if all these allegations are true, etc., and there's some, mild proof of it that was displayed on stream, some proof of it, it's hard to swallow because no human being, whether you like the platform or the content they provide others, etc., etc., no one deserves the treatment that she was experiencing, especially from what I saw in that 2 minutes or 3 minutes. No one deserves that treatment. That is not a relationship. So trigger warnings on part of this discussion. How do you guys feel about this whole thing? Let's kind of get the ball rolling here. How do we feel? How do you guys feel about this whole thing?
It's very upsetting to see like someone go through all this. Honestly, it is incredibly like disheartening to see like her go through like the whole thing with her husband and everything. I have watched the clip. It is very uncomfortable to
It's
watch.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it's quite like a lot. It was basically the way that I saw it with the situation was that Amouranth basically did the nuclear option essentially, where she
Right.
got it. Yeah, where she got it all out, like completely on stream, exposing her husband fully because, as she discussed, she tried to solve it privately, and that did not work. And because of that, she had no other option. And yeah, as she says in there, he was basically in full control of the finances as well, which is another thing that is absolutely like insane and was just it was incredibly disheartening to like learn all this. And whether you like Amaranth or not, domestic abuse is a serious problem. And all that what I was hoping was that Amaranth was fine, and that she was coming, like she was trying to like, I don't know, that she was trying to sort out the situation that she was in, basically somehow try and get out of the situation that she was
Yeah.
in as well. Because no one deserves to be in that at all, regardless of how you feel about them.
So
You know?
I'm gonna touch on the article here for a second. This came out of Polygon. This is the source we're using. Trigger warnings. This article does display, you know, content regarding domestic abuse. So trigger warning there for those listeners. Popular Twitch streamer and OnlyFans creator Amouranth said in an impassioned, tearful stream on Saturday that she felt like that she's being manipulated and abused by her husband, whose real name is Caitlin, and then I'll leave the last name blank. Said her husband, who was not named, was forced her to stream, threatened to hurt her dogs, and has taken control of her finances and her bank account. And the quote from her mouth was, "I'm basically living in a fancy prison." The stream has been removed from Twitch. You cannot find it there, but there's clips of it circulating all over the place on Twitter, etc. In the live stream, she stated that her husband saw the hot tub meta and the Twitch subgenre where people stream in the bikini in the tub as an opportunity, quote unquote. And he told her to tell her viewers that she was single because it would ruin the business model to reveal that she was married. On the stream, she displayed her cell phone and showed a text thread that said, again, trigger warning here, the depicted messages call her a dumb fuck, which is completely inappropriate. And included threats to dump luggage, merch off a balcony, delete her social medias. Someone else as I saw some other avenues. I don't know if these are true or not, but he threatened to make investments that he knew were poor investments with their money. He threatened to,
He threatened to use money on cryptocurrencies and stuff
and
like
poor
he would
options.
fail.
It's basically the financial terms poor options. Losing bets. He did that up supposedly here, and then he threatened to harm her animals. And then from what I can see here, her description of the thing is that it happens, and then the next time it's a night and day thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm okay." The situation's back to normal. Her content lead, Mars, stated that she's fine, and then that the police went to the residence multiple times since 5 a.m. that day or the day before. There were also fellow streamers that reached out to her, and then she stated that she was safe and okay. As of right now, the stats here, she started a Twitch channel in 2016 with a cosplay focus, and then her channel grew to 5.9 million Twitch followers. And she is also one of the most watched Twitch streamers of the year. Popular on OnlyFans, her ASMR YouTube channel has 640,000 followers. And then her online presence includes the traditional avenues: Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, Fansly, etc. Let's see. In an article, article with Business Insider, she claimed she'd taken off 10 days in the last few years. She regularly streams for long stretches, including 15 hours.
Yep. She said on one of her streams that that the most sleep she'll ever get in one night is like maybe maximum 5 hours,
which is insane to me.
Yeah. So like usually she's sleeping about 3.5, 4 hours every single night. Like that's how much of a grind she's been on.
Yeah.
And then the update was October 18th. She went on stream again, and she did another heartfelt stream where she claimed she reclaimed her social media and bank accounts, and that she was seeking, quote, legal and emotional counsel, and that her husband was not there, and that he was, quote, getting help. She said she would take some downtime to process everything, quote unquote, and that she intended to eventually continue streaming, this time on her own terms. So this is really... This is really, really, really disturbing. So this covers all kinds of avenues of like the dark side of this platform. Because if all of this, like I said, I'm going to claim alleged right now because there's no legal proceedings or anything that has happened regarding this that were facts, in a legal sense of coming. So I'm going to say, this is all alleged just as a cover myself here. If all this alleged stuff is true and the treatment and everything she was experiencing outside of what we saw in those clips, in that stream, he was essentially acting as her pimp. In layman's terms.
Yeah, he was probably he was sex trafficking her.
Yeah.
And it's so not right. And the fact is, like, on her stream, because like I actually went and did a bit of research, because it's like, okay, so like I've heard heard of her. I know the content, the shit that she does, but I've never had any interest. But then I took a look at like the kinds of streams she's done lately. She has not had one single gaming stream.
Right.
All the things is either ASMR, dancing, pole dancing, her hot tub streams.
Right.
Nothing gaming
sexually
related.
Suggestive and, adult content.
Yeah. But then, since that happened, she did one long stream where she basically went from, she was doing some IRL stuff where she was showing off her horses, which has nothing to do with her sexual stuff. And and then later that day, she was actually playing Overwatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is something nobody has seen her really do on her stream.
Yeah, would expect her to do.
And so she was saying that, I can actually play the new Pokemon. I can actually watch TV for the first time. And it seems that she can actually, and she said that a lot of the streams, like I think she mentioned something along the lines of the hot tub streams. She said, yeah, being on the grind, do those hot tub streams. I never even wanted to do that stuff in the first place.
Right.
So she's actually was doing content she never wanted to do, or that she was comfortable with. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like,
Sucks.
Hannah and I have talked about that whole meta and stuff numerous times on the show we did together and while I don't necessarily agree with the content she put out there or, watch the content, I had the utmost respect for her ability to continually pivot and stay ahead of the curve when it came to that content.
Yeah.
Because she was constantly on the next level of it. She basically gamed the system. And she constantly kept Twitch in check where they're like, oh, well, we have to do this. We have to do this. We have to do this. Because Amouranth would always be ahead of it and be like, oh, okay, I can wear a bikini in appropriate situations. So they threw a hot tub in the fucking, living room. And she was in a bikini in a hot tub. Makes sense. Which essentially fulfilled the TOS requirements and stuff like that. She was always on this constant curve and she's always pushing the boundaries of a broadcast and really kept Twitch in check in terms of how TOS works and like really keeping them in check on their TOS and being like, are we actually enforcing this correctly? Which she's proven time and time again, they're really not.
No.
Yeah.
And to sit there and believe that, okay, well, maybe this is her whole husband's dealing and he's really the mastermind behind this whole thing really is just, it's almost eye-opening and daunting.
Yeah.
There's also like another part of that story too, because what was that guy's name that her photographer?
Right. This is that guy Mars, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
Mars. So basically, he spoke up and saying that at TwitchCon, I was outside their TwitchCon hotel, and I think it was like something like 5 a.m. in the morning, and apparently they were having he was like yelling at her, and like he knew about it. He said, "Yeah, like this stuff was going on. Like I've known about this for a while." But then she says, "All right, so he's." But then Amouranth said that Mars was she said, well, first of all, not only did he know about it, he didn't do anything about it.
Right.
Okay.
And said that oh gosh, what is the term for when you're kind of just using that? Hey, I know I knew about this and kind of just using it for like clicks and hits.
Enabling.
Yeah, enabling.
Not really enabling, just like using the fact that like he knew her and she wasn't really happy with it.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like just turning a blind eye to it, and you're kind of like, see,
yeah,
that's always a tough position to be in too, because you think about it where it's like, and obviously in hindsight, when you find out this stuff's going on, and you're kind of like, I knew about it was going on and I didn't do anything, and you feel this level of guilt. It's one of those difficult things to do, to like address in a situation when it's happening, like right then and there. Unless like, I'll take example, like if I had one of my friends that was married or whatever, unless I'm like seeing him physically hit her or something along those lines, it's like, where do you draw the line where you get involved, or like, am I weird in questioning this? Like, I don't know. I almost feel a little bit of guilt questioning it, but it's kind of like, it's like this fine line where you impede on somebody's relationship, when it's hard. It's hard to do. Anyone to say, you go rat him out. Like, it's hard to do.
Well, I think all he really, the thing is, this is why it's so difficult for a lot of like victims of abuse can come forward,
right?
Because a lot of the people won't actually believe them, and two, the people that do know about it, they don't really help in a way that allows them, that helps them or gives them like a venue or just a good way to come forward without there being devastating Oh my
Like
gosh, I can't even.
consequences? Like
Yes, consequences. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
So, and it was just like just looking at it from my perspective, like if I was like in his shoes, I would have been like, okay, so I know all this stuff is going on. I know this stuff is between you, but at the same time, this is getting very serious,
Right.
and I'm seeing how much it's wearing on you. And if you are someone that is this influential, you made all this money doing what it is that you do, but this is where you need to ask yourself, is it worth it sacrificing everything about you, yourself, and what you believe in to continue to make this much money? And should you address it? Because you need to do something. You can't just waste your life living off of what other people want to do. You should
Right.
you're not a slave, and
Yeah,
she
he
should never.
was right. He was benefiting from this just as much as
Yeah.
the husband was. But yeah, going back to this the relationship aspect, because realistically too, different couples have different boundaries as for what they consider out of bounds or inappropriate or stuff like for me personally. What was the term he used there? What do you call her, dumb fuck or something like that?
Yeah.
That would never come out of my mouth
Hmm.
to my girlfriend. That is like not, I've called Pow. I'll disclose them here. I've called Pow a ding dong. I've called her all kinds of things, right? But the
Hmm.
term dumb fuck would not come out of my mouth towards my girlfriend. I think the
Yeah.
worst case scenario, I called her dirty bitch, but that was out of a joking matter. We were laughing about it together. But that's the boundary we have. Some couples dumb fuck to each other might be an acceptable, term and boundary for them. But, from our eyes, it's like, oh, that doesn't seem cool, right?
Yeah.
There's that
Yeah.
every couple has a different boundary of what's acceptable and unacceptable up until you get to the point where, he raises a
Yeah.
hand or he hits her or something. We all know universally that's not right.
Yeah. Dumb fuck is vocabulary for an abuser.
Yeah. It's hard. It's just difficult to, but the problem is, yes, the fact that he benefited financially from this whole situation is just disgusting too, to me.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I agree with him. It's like dumb fuck is an unacceptable term for your significant other.
Yeah.
You know.
Like if I was Mars, it's like if I knew that someone was calling her dumb fuck, it's like, no, you have to do something because this
Right.
is just clearly not healthy.
I would have gotten involved at that point and been like, hey, you need to chill and go take a walk.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like you said, like that's a term out of
Yeah.
like. And
Yeah.
plus, I didn't see the context of like, is he raising his hand? Is he being physically, physically,
Yeah. Is that because like I feel that
emotioned in
maybe
it,
like he didn't do anything because he was the photographer, and if he did do anything or try and step in and rectify the situation, he probably would have pushed to have him deplatformed.
Right.
And that
and
maybe that
yeah.
guy Mars was afraid of losing his platform because he didn't want to do the right thing.
Right.
I mean, great that he's there for him, but like Amouranth said, he knew and did nothing about it.
Right. It's heartbreaking all around. And then the other thing to kind of look at this too is the whole Twitch thing. Now that like you look at Twitch's situation, like what are the legal grounds for this whole thing? Was he trafficking her and all that kind of stuff? By description, it sounds like that's what the husband was doing. Now is does Twitch hold any kind of accountability for this, or are they responsible for any kind of accountability in this whole thing and letting this happen, et cetera, et cetera? It's all just legal gray area that ultimately has to be discussed and hammered out with lawyers, et cetera.
It really just depends on like who was actually like handling all the contracts they have to file. Because like if he had to, then I'm not sure what would actually go on. But
right.
At the very least, like right now, Amouranth is taking an indefinite break. Who knows from what? But if she does come back, I feel that we'll probably see more IRL streams from from her,
Yeah.
and she'll probably do more gaming stuff. And honestly,
Yeah.
I think, from someone, because she said that she was alone. She felt alone
Right.
because everyone hated her and her content and hated for what she stood for. And but I actually think that, to kind of put a positive spin on this is, when she does come back to streaming, as long as, if she's doing the things that she actually wants to do, I think that, she could be like, good for Twitch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually.
It's I think honestly, not everybody, because not everyone is inclusive, but I do feel like the large portion of the community, especially a large portion of the community that, basically, how do I put this? Basically put her down for her content, or et cetera, et cetera. The community that basically, shunned her and put her down and refused to acknowledge her just because of the content she put out. I think we should, like, those people should hold some responsibility and
Yeah.
really, in a sense, be ashamed of herself, because we're finding out, if all of this is true, that she was behind none of it at all.
Mhm.
She was just the pawn in the whole thing and doing the job.
Yeah.
That says a lot about something, where it's like, we really should look at ourselves in the way we judge people and their content and what they do and the routes they take and how they get where. And also, there's people talking about, because I guess I read this yesterday, is like some of the OnlyFans related tweets and emails and stuff are still going out to those subscribers,
Yeah.
and where she says she's taking a break. I don't know, like, I can't really speak much on it, because I don't know what contract agreement she has in place with OnlyFans or any of those platforms or any of that stuff. Sponsorship agreements. I don't know any of that context.
They could be auto generated as well. They could be like already in the system and then like dosed out on
Right,
a
the
daily
automated,
basis.
like,
Yeah.
the automated tweet advertisement tweets and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff might be in an automated thing, or there's a social media manager that, hasn't gotten the instruction
Memo.
to stop, because, like I said, we don't know. We don't know if there's contractual agreements that she still has to fulfill, et cetera, et cetera. So I would just not pay too much mind to that, and just, listen to her. And, if she says she's taking a break, then she's taking a break.
Yeah.
And let her figure her life out, because that poor woman, if there's anything that poor woman needs, it's a break.
Right.
And to sit there and call it fake, and that this isn't true, this is all an act or whatever, fuck off. You can't prove that. You can't do any. So just
I'm of the mindset where, even if, like, this somehow ends up being, like, the very low percent chance of this ends up being some kind of just, like, whatever publicity stunt, I would much rather be proven to be a fool than to not believe the victim.
Right.
Please do, because people that are in this position, should be believed, and
Right.
should
And
get,
I just
the
think
proper
it's,
care and respect.
yes, she's a pusher of boundaries and all that stuff, but I don't think it would be, and for someone that's a businesswoman, it doesn't seem like it would be in good practice to fake a stunt like this.
Yes, exactly. Especially, like,
Doesn't
this
add
was
up.
like, when she was explaining all this, like, it was the very first time she was actually wearing baggy clothes that was not revealing in
Right. It
whatever
doesn't
way.
make sense from a business standpoint to go and play this card. It doesn't make any business sense. So those
Exactly.
people that believe that kind of shit, just fuck off, keep it to yourself, and move on.
Exactly. For
Like,
anyone that is, because, like, I've had the unfortunate experience. I mean, we all have, is seeing all those people just um like blaming her for it, like all those, like, dudes up there. There's like, it's like, oh, how dare she lie to us? Blah blah. It's like, if you really thought that you stood a
yeah, what did
chance
you think was going to happen if she
with
was
her,
single?
she's got 4.5 million followers on Twitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. She wants nothing to do with you.
You literally, like, she literally has pick of the litter, and it's just like, your odds are slim to nothing on that. And if you want to play that card and she does pick you, go buy a fucking lottery ticket because shit is working in your favor.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things like piss off with that whole thing. Just let the woman be. Let her go take her break. Let her go recoup. Let her go find herself, because this woman is completely, she's had her whole world turned upside down,
Yeah. Also, I want to respond to what Chibi put in chat. So Chibi said, she should have separation from the husband as opposed to him just seeking help. Now, the thing is, though, she said that she's seeking legal and emotional counsel. So that is not only him seeking help, but that's also like marriage counseling and just basically finding a way for that. I think that leads to filing a divorce, because like
That's
there's a lot of legal
also
matters they have
that's
to handle
also
before.
yes. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, that's also, that may have been instructed from her lawyer
Yes.
Yeah.
to disclose. This is another thing we forget, and I'm not just saying, but I'm only bringing this example up is because it's in our chat here, where there's a bunch of things. There's like, well, she should say this and she should say that, and she should there. We forget that there's tons of legal stuff that happens in the background. Assuming they got lawyers and all this kind of stuff, and they are working out through the legal system. There are multitudes of things your lawyer is going to say to not, put anyone in any incriminating position. This is why we have not heard anything regarding we haven't heard anything from Twitch regarding the TwitchCon foam fiasco or none of that, because there's tons of legal stuff that they say, because I work with these lawyers all the time and I hear them. They basically say like, no, don't say that, or don't do this, don't do that.
Not to mention, it's not even them, because like it was Lenovo that ran that whole foam pin. So Twitch can't even say anything about it, because like because like then I mean, like they're already going to be dragged into whatever legal mess that is going to be. But at the same time, that because like that is taking coordination of two companies trying to accept responsibility for them.
Yeah,
that is going to be it's going to take a long.
It's not going to happen.
Before
They're going to be like, I know. I actually talked to my boss about this whole thing. And she was like, yeah, one company blames the other one sues the other one, and then gets paid, and then they go blame the other one to get the money back, and it turns into a whole like legal mess. But that's why you're getting the verbiage that they're getting in these tweets.
Let's not forget that Lenovo is also the one that sponsored September this year.
Yeah, so who knows
what's
gonna happen.
They need to tread carefully in that relationship.
Yeah, it's not as cut and dry as we'd like it to believe. Yeah.
But I can pretty much gather that Twitch is probably furious about it.
Yeah.
It's not even because
it's a whole mess.
I know, because like I know a staff member who's on my stream team, and he's not very happy about it.
No.
Yeah. That's a whole mess. And this whole thing is we may even see some stuff from this whole Amouranth thing if it ever comes out, there I would hard pressed to believe there's no way Twitch is not going to be involved in this thing in some way, shape, or form. It's going to come down to like the lawyers going to be like, well, why did you let this happen? Or like, did you not, investigate any of this,
Was there not a background health check or anything like that? Or like
it's going to come down to like, you let your broadcasters stream 15 hours a day. What kind of stuff do you have in place, for mental health, physical health, et cetera, et cetera? It's going to come there. I might say that loosely. I'm not a lawyer by any means, but I'd be hard pressed to find a way that they don't get wheeled into this somehow. She's the largest female on that platform.
Yeah.
So I'd be hard pressed to believe that they don't end up in this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with the money loss. Because if she decides to do this, and this, and her contracts and all that kind of stuff, like it's all kinds of crap. Yeah.
Before you guys talk about Bayonetta stuff, I actually have to let you guys know that my bladder's about to burst.
Okay, go pee.
Okay, hold on. Let me full screen you here. Get your bottle. I'm cashing in. Someone's got to fill the void. That's a big mug. It might work. All right, go ahead. Fill your bladder.
Okay. Woo. Oh, it's all over my leg, man. Why did you fucking...
That's why you go buy the fancy hand soaps.
That's why I need the Pringle tube.
The Pringle tube. Oh, it's sterile.
I'm Kevin Costner.
It's
Bear
sterile.
Grylls is here, chat.
Waterworld has come to visit.
Weird. Out of nowhere, I dropped like 10,000 frames.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Something glitched.
All right, but I gotta go pee.
All right, go pee. He's just staring at us to make sure we're not doing something. Like, look at him.
He's going to pee now. Pee, pee, pee.
That's his bathroom right there.
Yeah.
If you
Just right
didn't
next
know, he
door.
streams from a jail cell.
Yes. I bet this could be like Niagara Falls and going to gush him out straight through the roof.
If you're in the chat, does the stream did the stream like drop or look weird at any way, shape, or form?
I noticed that it went like it started to buffer a little bit.
Oh, this is why.
You have a background download, you don't tell them
Yeah,
this.
the what's it called started.
Windows update?
Did it just happen for like a minute or so?
A minute or so, yeah.
Okay. Hopefully it wasn't too inhibiting, right?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, I think I fixed it. I think it I think the OneDrive was uploading, which I just turned it off. I forget to pause the uploading. Okay. So yeah, wild times. Okay, sorry about that. The problem should be fixed now.
Right.
Did someone mention it in chat?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, well we should be good now. It stopped.
I was going to mention it, but you were in me like mid conversation, so I didn't want to let interrupt.
In all this deep conversation, you realize your shit's fucking up?
Yeah. That's an important conversation.
Where's my Steam Deck?
It's on its way.
I'm impatient. Why can't I just go to Micro Center and buy one?
Because Valve are not exactly what you call consumer friendly.
I don't think they're that bad.
I mean, forgetting a Steam that they are.
They got a lot better. Now it's a 1 to 2 week window. It was
all right.
Yeah, they got caught up.
They got their chips in.
Yeah, they got caught up.
As PlayStation and Microsoft caught up as well.
Yeah, there's people reporting that can actually get one. Let's see here.
He's back from P. The P-Land has returned.
The peanut.
The peanut is back. Legend of Peanut is here, chat.
Great. Also, I tried to blow my nose while I was in the bathroom because like I'm all congested.
Yeah.
And turns out I'd got a random nosebleed.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Damn.
So yeah, if you just see just a bit of blood just streaming down my face, sorry.
Okay.
Apparently, yeah, we dropped a bunch of frames and I figured out that OneDrive was uploading. So I was like, "Oh, you bastard! I forgot to turn it off." I have to get a checklist now. I need a little checklist for when I start these things. I usually rarely miss things like that, but we're okay. It's gone now. It hasn't been a problem since.
That's good.
But okay. This Bayonetta story is kind of wild.
It's like an unraveling story, the Bayonetta one, because like as first, obviously the whole thing came out, and then it kind of like more things have come out, and more things have come out. It's something that's still developing, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's get the article here. Okay, so this came out of The Verge. Former Bayonetta voice actor urges boycott of Bayonetta 3. Helena Taylor, Bayonetta's original voice actor, shared that the reason she did not return for Bayonetta 3 was because because of an insulting offer for the role. As a result, she's asking fans to boycott the game, which releases on October 28th. On the 15th of October, the voice actor posted 3 videos on Twitter, sharing her story, detailing her years of experience and training, and what did they think this was worth. She said in the video the final offer to do the whole game was about $4,000. She called the offer an insult and asked fans to boycott the game and donate the money they intended to spend on Bayonetta 3 to charity. In subsequent videos, she said she made the statement to stand in solidarity with people all over the world who do not get paid for their talents. She talked about the effect the offer had on her and her mental health, worrying about losing her housing, and had thoughts of suicide. That's unfortunate and very scary. Revelation comes amid a climate that which voice actors are increasingly sharing how little they're paid to voice some of the entertainment's most popular characters. And then there are some examples here. I won't go too deep into those, but one was as low as 150 for a popular anime.
Not just the anime, that's the movie as well, which
the
made
movie
millions in the box office.
Let's see. Refusing to work with union contracts that would ensure actors have certain protections. In her video, she went on to explain how in her native Britain that the cost of living crisis has got nurses going to food banks to feed their children while fat cats get rich, basically shortened out there. Her estimation, the Bayonetta franchise made $450 million. Verge reached out, did not receive any contact back yet. I'm going to probably butcher this name, but here it is. In response to Taylor's video, Hideki Kamiya, the Bayonetta series creator at Platinum Games, tweeted, "Sad and deplorable about the attitude of untruth. This is what all I can tell now. By the way, beware of my rules." Interesting. She said she does not fear potential legal action regarding any breach of non-disclosure agreement because she can't even afford to run a car. That is a very, very dumb card to play, just so you know. And written to express her dissatisfaction. She said in her response seemed his response seemed complimentary of her skills and that her fans were eager to have her return to the role, only for them to offer her the $4,000 sum. Okay, I'm going to speed through this here a little bit. Okay, Taylor wished all the best to Bayonetta's new voice actor, Jennifer Hale, known for Mass Effect and Overwatch and Ratchet and Clank, as well as a bunch of animated and film roles. And then October 17th, Jennifer Hale tweeted, "I support every actor's right to be paid well and have advocated consistently for this for years." She did not mention Taylor or anything regarding specifically the matter. And then she explains that she understood folks who do not wish to participate in a boycott and urged those who care about people are treated to spend their money elsewhere. So this is the beginning here. We'll start about this here for the beginning here. So this is regardless of what you are paid or offered to be paid, it is not in good practice to go out there and spill the beans about a former employer or a potential employer or a contracted employer. This stuff opens you up to all kinds of legal issues that she's going to experience. You know, what do you guys think? Do you think the $4,000 offer is a lowball before we get into the second part of this here?
I mean, do they specify $4,000 for like the year or 4,000 for a payment or anything like that? That's one thing I know about.
We'll get to that here. So go ahead.
It sounds pretty low at first, but no matter what she's being paid, it would be like, say, you work for Coca-Cola, and you were you're a big part of Coca-Cola. You did like commercials for Coca-Cola, and then they don't pay you very well, and you leave. And then you go out there on your personal Twitter and say, "Hey, I want you guys to not buy Coca-Cola and spend your money elsewhere and not support the person that's voicing, that's, doing the new Coca-Cola commercials." That is, first of all, a little unfair. And B,
It's just a dick move.
yeah. And C, to get to the next part, that it feels a little dishonest.
Right. Which we'll get in here in the second half of this here. So, yeah, it's just one of the things. That's a reason why NDAs are put in place. And honestly, if the offer is not what you want, then you turn down the offer and move on.
Yeah.
I don't go in job interviews, and when they offer me less than whatever, I don't go out on Twitter and be like, yeah, avoid them because they're only offering da 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 da. Like, you don't do that. Number one, like you said, you violated and did you have an NDA at Coke when you worked there?
No, I was just using that as an example, but
Yeah.
no, I did not have.
I
used to work for Coke. I did not have an NDA.
Right, because I mean, whether it's manufacturing or production or whatever, I would imagine Coke is one of those companies that's always on the cutting edge of something in some department, and you would have some kind of thing.
For me, like, even though I technically had like a slight NDA, when I was working at a game publishing company, like, even when I was done, I didn't go out of my way complaining about the company. I didn't go out of my way complaining about the games, complaining about the practice. I mean, I'll mention it here on the stream, but it's I don't tell people what it is, because if people somehow, like, someone in this stream all of a sudden found my work's company, my previous employer,
right, and they
started playing their games, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Right. And on top of that too, you probably still have colleagues that work there, or people you respected, at least in a sense, that still work there.
Exactly.
So there's no point in doing that kind of thing because you got an offer that you weren't pleased with. Here's the follow-up to this. This one came out of IGN. Here's the second half of this. There's two sides of every story. Make sure that's muted.
There's
Pause.
some
Sorry, make that muted. Okay. This came out of IGN. Bayonetta voice actor reportedly offered at least $15,000 for the role, contrary to her claims. This is a significant increase over what she made on Bayonetta 2. So, new evidence has emerged that Bayonetta voice actor Helena Taylor was offered at least $15,000 to reprise her role in the forthcoming sequel, contrary to her claims that she was only offered $4,000.
So did you say it was an increase or decrease from what she made for Bayonetta 2?
Let me check this. It was a significant increase over what she made in 2. So now the term significant varies from employer to employer. 1,000 could be a significant increase to an employer, while 500 could be a significant increase to a different employer. So that's a loose term. Significance a loose term in this case. But this report came out of Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, which has been corroborated with VGC, cites documentation, as well as two people familiar with the negotiations that Platinum attempted to hire Taylor for 5 sessions lasting 4 hours apiece, each of which would have been between 3,000 and 4,000. So that's 5 sessions at 4 hours at $3,000 to $4,000 apiece.
So
go ahead.
Actually, I'll let you finish the article first.
So, according to VGC, this would have been a significant increase on Taylor's fee from the second game. According to the report, Taylor rejected these terms, asking for a 6-figure sum and residuals. If you do not know what residuals are, I'm going to guess she wanted a percentage of whatever copies were sold.
Yeah. Or like version price or anything like that, whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
Correct. After lengthy, and residuals can also include something like it goes on PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass or whatever for free or whatever.
Ports or any other like new console and stuff.
Right, she gets a cut of those downloads. Platinum subsequently hired Jennifer Hale to take on the role of Bayonetta. Taylor reportedly denied a subsequent offer of a cameo for the fee of 1 session. So she was, according to this, she was also offered a cameo for a session, and she declined that. Taylor called the report an absolute lie in statements both to Bloomberg and VGC, claiming that Platinum was trying to save their ass and the game. She also stands by everything in the video. And then she says, "I would like to put this whole bloody franchise behind me, quite frankly, and get on with my life in theater," she wrote. Okay. And then the article recants what we said in the last one about how she was only offered $4,000 and that it blew up over Twitter. Here's an interesting fact here. So this is for the U.S. I don't know about Britain and Canada or other countries, but the SAG-AFTRA union, that's the Screen Actors Guild here, which is the union for actors here in America and California. It's reported that they get the union minimum is $1,000 per session with no residuals. Yeah. So that's the bare minimum in California and the U.S. for SAG and AFTRA. And then there was a nice tweet from Jennifer Hale here. I'm going to go ahead and read this because it is classy. As a longtime member of the voice acting community, I support every actor's right to be paid well and have advocated consistently for this for years. Anyone who knows me or has followed my career will know that I have great respect for my peers and that I'm an advocate for all members of the community. I am under an NDA, and I'm not at liberty to speak regarding this situation. My reputation speaks for itself. I sincerely ask that everyone keep in mind that this game has been created by an entire team of hardworking, dedicated people, and I hope everyone will have an open mind about what they've created. Finally, I hope that everyone involved may resolve their differences in an amicable and respectful way. With love and respect, Jennifer Hale. So, because people started attacking Jennifer Hale in this whole thing, which is just stupid.
Yeah.
She had nothing to, she just got a job and took it. You know, God forbid she tries to eat. You know what I mean? So now that we have the second half, this is all alleged too, because none of this has been confirmed by Platinum or anything like that. But, you know, there's a couple sources here corroborating it. So we're going to say it's at least a large grain of salt. What do you guys think now that we're hearing the second half of this story? Is somebody lying? That's the first question.
There's no real way of knowing until Platinum themselves actually comment on it, honestly, because, like, I mean, I do believe that, you know, if someone does a job, they should be paid the fair way for the job. They should be paid the right amount of money. I did do a bit of research as well on, like, the average that a voice actor does normally get for like their role. On average, they should be getting somewhere between a year, like 23 grand to about somewhere in like the 100 grand at least. That's the average for like.
That's a wide average though. 23, 25 grand to, you know, 100 grand is a wide window. So let's take the bare minimum then. So at $23,000, is this for Britain or is this for the US?
It was just something that I found at an article online. It was dollars, so I'm assuming it was like US.
So let's look at it this way: 23K. That's what divided by 12. That is.
And then the article says offered at least 15,000 for roles. So like, I get it that Helena Taylor is upset and probably be like, all right, so I'm voicing the main character. I have so many different lines I have to read, and meanwhile there's voice actors within the, you know, all around the industry that are probably making a lot more money for me. Like she has the every right to be upset, but she has every right to also, you know, just turn it down and just fucking move on, because like obviously her opening her mouth has resulted in this being a bigger issue than it needs to be.
Right. So Dill's number here, 23K at the bare minimum across 12 months. That's $1,900. So
yeah,
let's look at what the number that was claimed that she was offered. So the number that she claimed she was offered was what?
She claimed it was $4,000.
She claims it was $4,000, but the Platinum's number here is 15. I just saw it. 15, but it was over the course of. God damn it! Why did I just lose it here? Oh, here we go. Okay. 5 sessions lasting 4 hours apiece, of which would be between $3,000 to $4,000. Okay, so let's take the $15,000.
Maybe about 4 sessions of $4,000 each.
Yeah, so we divide this by 4. So that's $3,700 a session, right? And we are going to divide this over 20 hours.
Maths, yeah.
So let me see. Oh, so no, actually we need to take the 15K Divide that by the or the 5 sessions. Okay, so that's 5 sessions lasting 4 hours apiece. Let's divide this by 4. She's averaging $750 an hour
Right.
to record these sessions.
Yeah.
That's the piece that we're missing here. She got offered 15 grand for basically 20 hours worth of work. I will gladly take $15,000 for 20
Yeah.
hours worth of work, assuming these numbers are true and accurate.
Mhm. But there's also the thing you need to consider is the fact that like a lot of voice actors are they oh my gosh like they work based off of like whenever they're needed because there's a lot of time that they spend freelance work.
Right, freelance
So
work,
because
yes.
you're freelance voice actor, you're not going to be consistently working. So there's probably times that these voice actors are not getting paid at all because there's no work for them or
Right.
they just haven't found the next opportunity.
And I mean, as cold-blooded as it may sound, I don't think that's necessarily at the responsibility of Platinum to see that her off hours are covered. That's not
Exactly.
that's not necessarily their responsibility. That's Helena's responsibility to find work when she's not working. That's her job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So but the core number here at $750 an hour for 20 hours worth of work, that does not sound bad at all to me in my case. There's this weird like idea of what people feel a livable wage is. You know what I mean? There's some people out here that consider this not livable. $750 an hour for 20 hours is a very doable thing. That's a very doable thing. And this is just the one job. Now if it was $15,000 and she was locked in for a year for multiple more hours than this, then yes, I would be like, that's a lowball offer. That's hardly doable. But for one job at 4 sessions here, 5 sessions at 4 hours apiece, that's a very doable thing. She's not being locked in for, a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And
I think just from like the overall attitude that she has about it, like I don't really like it. I don't like how she went about it.
Right.
And just have respect for your peers, and it doesn't feel that I think what's her name, Jennifer Hill, she handled this with masterclass with just, and I just wish that Helena Taylor handle it with at least half of the respect and decency that
Right.
Jennifer Hill did.
Here's the other thing that doesn't add up either. If the case is that they offered her $4 grand, Helena was offered $4 grand. If the case that she says is true that they offered her $4 grand, it makes no sense for them to go pick somebody that would command a higher rate. I would imagine for someone that was in Overwatch and et cetera, and what was the other one? Mass Effect, which is one of the largest franchises of all time. I have a hard-pressed understanding that they would go and find someone that would ask for a more commanding rate than what Jennifer was or Helena was offered. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, this girl we offered this amount doesn't want it. We'll go offer someone that wants significantly more money. That doesn't add up to me in terms of logic. You would get a pool of voice actors that would command the same kind of rate or be within that realm. Now, I don't know what Jennifer was paid, obviously, because she's under NDA.
Yeah.
But I would have to imagine it's in that ballpark because it wouldn't make any sense financially to offer somebody significantly more than their original actor that did 3 or 2 games would get. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been enough for someone like Jennifer Hale, who was did work on Mass Effect, to be like, oh, that's so very little. I'm not gonna like. She probably wouldn't have taken it either.
Yeah.
Because she did, it's kind of just makes you think.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Like
what is this woman up to?
From a logic standpoint, she'd be like, oh, I'm in these franchises. This is my standard rate. And then for them to offer $4 grand, like she wouldn't take the job. It doesn't make sense. Unless she really loved Bayonetta and it was a passion project.
Yeah.
but that doesn't make sense. It's this. I think honestly, this Helena got offered an offer that was insulting to her. I'm inclined to believe the 15K. I'm inclined to believe the 15K offer. I'm inclined to believe that. So just from the way things make sense and don't make sense. So for her to be like, oh, they offered me this, that, this, and this, and fuck my NDA. I can't even afford to drive to work. That's number one. That's just a stupid thing to do. Don't violate an NDA because you're like, screw them. What are they going to get out of me? They'll get something. They'll probably get the hoopty she's driving if she claims she's driving one. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just when the hard facts come out about this whole thing, and they're not gonna come out because of legal reasons. I think this girl got an offer. She didn't like it, and then she, pissed in the wind and tried to make a stance on it. It doesn't make it. It's just classless, completely classless.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the reasons that your job tells you to not discuss wages amongst each other.
We'll say it is definitely important to make sure that it's like anyone who does a job or does a voice acting role does get paid the right sum of money, and that's a good
Right.
thing to highlight. That I think she did highlight in her videos.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was just kind of like a bit of a bombshell moment that she decided to drop, like
Mm-hmm.
along with the game like coming out so soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was rubbed the wrong way by them. I don't know if Platinum did something to piss her off or anything. I don't know.
I think she wanted money. I think she wanted an amount. I think she wanted an amount that would significantly be over budget for the game.
Mm.
That would put the budget of the game out of the water.
Yeah.
And then 2, she wanted the residuals.
Yeah.
Which is like, I want a cut of every copy that's sold or downloaded or whatever, or played on streaming platform, She wanted a cut of all of that too. This girl I think this girl literally thinks she's, I think, as rude as it's going to sound to say, I think this girl literally thinks she's the top tier echelon of voice acting.
Mm.
No, you can't do that. I can understand maybe asking for residuals if you're looking for, okay, so you can offer me less, but I want residuals.
Right.
But
right.
This is Platinum Games.
Yeah.
This is Nintendo. You can't ask them for residuals unless if you're like freaking Shigeru Miyamoto himself.
Nintendo will come for you. They have no fear.
I don't know how accurate this is, but this is out of October 30th, 21. How much money does Charles Martinet make? This is the voice of Mario.
Mario.
Iconic voices of all time. And let's see.
He probably has like the easiest work is all he has to do is woohoo.
Seriously.
That's about it.
I'm curious what his role is going to be in the movie.
Yeah. If this thing is of any accuracy, his day rate is about $1,100. So his day rate's $1,100, and then what's her name was getting about $750. It's not out of the ballpark. You know what I mean? Yeah. She was basically asking for more than this guy makes.
Yeah, but that is Mario.
That's Mario.
That is Mario.
Yeah, you can't ask for more money than Mario. Are you fucking nuts?
Who's the one that does Ellie and all of them in The Last of Us? What was her name?
Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker.
Right. Let's see.
Like Troy Baker especially, he's really well known. So his rate's probably a decent chunk.
Yeah. Yeah, him and what's his name? Matt Mercer are probably one of the most premier voices where you're gonna be paying top dollar for them for their services.
I'm trying to see if there's any kind of numbers for this. Hers is hard to figure out because she has other avenues of income that aren't voice acting. And that's a hard number to look at. Oh, I guess I could put voiceover rate, right?
Roger Craig Smith. Yeah.
What?
Voice of Sonic.
Sonic.
Yeah.
Morgan, I
Sonic.
knew you would bring that up. Come on.
Yeah, bring up the voice of Sonic when the voice of Shadow is somewhere in there.
I'm trying to see if there's any kind of like rate or anything. Because she did other stuff. She was on like Critical Role and all that stuff. So she has other avenues of income. It's hard to determine what her thing is. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. What we can say here though is that she's asking for more. Basically, wants to be paid what Mario is paid, and that just doesn't add up. You know. What does it say? Who does Morgan say she knows? She knows the guy in the Sonic games? Oh no, she's
Yeah,
playing
Roger
Sonic.
Craig Smith, the voice of Sonic.
But either way, this is just absurd. I think her approach to this whole thing is just absurd. If you want to play the game, go play the game. If you're gonna go boycott the game, I think there's other things you can boycott that would be more worthy endeavor to boycott. You know,
I don't
Boycott,
like it when people tell me to boycott something, especially when it's over something that like like I get it. Yes, voice actors deserve to be paid, but people shouldn't be told, "Hey, boycott this, cancel this,"
yeah.
because we already have enough of that, especially
I
over
feel
just
like if you really are supportive of voice actors and want to get paid, support unionization. That like
right?
would be the big thing there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a hard hurdle to that's a hard hurdle to climb though, because it takes a lot of legwork to get one of those to pass.
Mhm.
So on that note, you know what? If you want to play it, go play it. I'm not going to sit there and be like, yeah, this is wrong. Don't play it. She got $4,000 at it. No, go play the
No.
game if you want to buy it. You know what? I'm going to go buy it to piss her off even more.
No.
I'm about it.
Mhm.
You know, I think the numbers Platinum offered are probably accurate. I think that 15K number is probably accurate.
Yeah. Honestly, I think she's overblowing it, and whatever report it was is also overblowing it because, like you said, they will exaggerate every single little detail to try and look better under the spotlight.
Yeah.
Because I've also been told at my last job where it's like, hey, this is a significant increase. It's like 1.5%. I don't consider this significant, but if you really want me to use that vocal language, then
Right, that's what I'm
sure.
saying. Everyone has a different variation of what's, significant. And then number 2, everyone has a variation of what they consider a livable wage. You know.
Mhm.
A livable wage in California is very different from a livable wage in Kentucky, you
Yeah,
know.
and then your livable wage is very different when you're someone that chooses to have like I don't know, like 3 cars and 5
Oh,
kids.
right. Oh, I need a livable wage to pay for my multi-million-dollar mansion and blah blah. Like, it's all kinds of weird variables that
Mhm.
are in place here where we can't just get a hard number on. But that's the hot buzzword right now is living wages, like livable wages, you know. And it's just like, these people will throw numbers out there and be like, I got this and got that, and like, come on. You know, are we
Mhm.
excited for Silent Hill 2 remake?
Mm.
Or are you not impressed still?
Well, the problem is, it's not the Silent Hill remake. It's who's developing the Silent Hill remake.
Who's developing it? Bloober.
Bloober.
I never heard of Bloober. I love their name.
Have you ever played Layers of Fear?
Oh yeah,
There you go.
that's the painting one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, so this is the same build. It looks good. I saw the trailer. It looks good. What do you think, Zenith? It looks good. Yeah.
I haven't seen the trailer, and I've also never played a Silent Hill game.
Neither have I.
Neither have I. Like,
Mm.
So we're in the position where we can't really comment on any of this.
I mean,
So-
the thing that I can comment on is that I think it's not actually going to be a remake. It's actually going to be a reboot.
Oh.
Because it's actually talked about on the website of it's not a remake, it's a reboot because I watched a content creator like Falls video analyzing the whole like Silent Hill stream that happened, basically, where they showed off all the new products and everything like that. And he emphasized that it's not a remake, it's a reboot. Even they say it in the website itself.
So this is a
A
whole
lot,
new story, whole new plot line.
yeah. So well, that's the thing. Like we don't know what it is. It's a very good looking live trailer. They'll probably take what they did from the original game and then update it with like new stuff.
So
It's just
why would they call it Silent Hill 2 if it's a reboot?
because I think what they said in the videos are trying to profitize off of
The name.
their most popular game, which was Silent Hill 2 at the time. Like that was the one that basically like propelled the series into its like what it's known basically.
But here's what's interesting about this though, is Silent Hill itself is a big enough franchise to carry on its own. It's
Oh,
just been through a bad lull, like, for the past
the
few years.
problem is that Konami hasn't really given enough of a shit to actually make an actual proper game from it. They just keep passing it on to developers.
So,
And
but
then
I get that. I get that here though, but they Konami obviously has no problem with this.
Well, yeah, they're probably just trying to find the people who will do it for a decent amount of money and like be like pay them whatever like they like ask for pretty
You
much as
see
long as it's not
you
too
see what I'm
much.
getting at though? Like,
Yeah.
I get Konami's involvement in this thing. They have to get the
Yeah.
licensing from Konami. But
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense where if they've already got the licensing to the Silent Hill name,
Yeah.
why not just reboot the series and call it Silent Hill and we start from scratch? Versus, let's call it Silent Hill 2, but
Silent
call
Hill
it a
2.
completely make a completely different game and reboot it. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. I can't be alone in the thinking this.
I mean, I think they're gonna use the same character from Silent Hill 2, but they're just gonna update the story and they're going to like change things from the original game basically to match Blooper's game style, which Blooper's game style honestly is not really that great because like a lot of their games they've been called out for doing copy and paste work from other artists and they don't really do a good job of covering like mental illness in their games as well. So that's why a lot of people don't, especially in the horror horror genre of gaming, don't like Blooper because they do a shit job at like addressing a lot of the issues that are in the game or that they make. Like,
We should probably touch on this here before we head out in this whole thing. There is a whole slew of stuff that was announced by Konami regarding Silent Hill. So, we have Silent Hill Townfall. Developed. You're definitely right that they're just pawning these off on whatever developers will take it. Story Untold and Observation No Code alongside Annapurna Interactive. This one remains a mystery. Okay, so no new info on this except the title, Silent Hill Townfall. There's a new Silent Hill film, Return to Silent Hill. Christopher Gaines, director of the 2006 Silent Hill movie, returns for this flick. Filming and casting are still in the works. We don't know much about that either. A new Silent Hill game called Silent Hill Ascension, described as a live, real-time interactive series in which players watch together as the story plays out. I'm going to guess that's something like Until Dawn, maybe?
Probably.
Something along those lines, the Quarry, Until Dawn, something like that. Poor kid Kalen forgot his podcast day.
Oh, Callan, no.
Is it
It's all
Kalen
good.
or Callan?
Callan.
Poor Callan. Well, we're glad you're here, Callan. Thanks for hanging out with us. I just saw that and I was like, I'm gonna acknowledge it.
If they're gonna do an interactive like Silent Hill game, then why don't they get the developers of like Until Dawn and stuff like that to actually make it? Because they do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, that's like their bread and butter. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Then there is a teaser for another Silent Hill game called Silent Hill F. This one, I'm interested in this.
That one was quite intriguing because the trailer was very anomalous and it was really freaky. But that one was probably the most intriguing thing that I saw in the entirety of like the showcase. I was like,
yeah,
ooh,
Silent Hill story set in 1960s Japan. I love Japanese horror stuff. They're very big on spirituality and like ghost and hauntings and stuff. I'm here for it. Pow will freak out, not play.
Probably. I mean, just show her the trailer, she'll probably freak out.
And then what is this here? Oh, that's the full thing, I think. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
full series. So yeah, that's there's a whole bunch of Silent Hill stuff coming. It's going to be a if you're a Silent Hill fan, I guess this is your time to shine.
It
But
all basically your time to shine or your time to dread, depending on how you feel about everything.
so as someone who's never played before Zenith, are you going to jump on any of these?
Nah.
Nah, not for you. Not even the remake, reboot,
Yeah,
new game.
not really my like. It would have to absolutely blow me away, and
Is
I'm
this-
talking about like because like I wasn't even like a big Resident Evil person, but like I was hooked on RE7.
Are you a are you afraid of like spirituality horror? Like, are you afraid of ghosts and stuff like that?
No, I mean like I'm probably like while watching like I struggle watching someone play Visage. So
Oh,
if you
which
guys have
one
heard
was
of that
that? I
game.
heard this one. Which one was that one?
Visage was the one that was inspired by Silent Hill. In a
Oh, the
way.
PT, not like the
Yeah.
PT inspired.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That one I could hardly sit through it, whereas what was it? I was watching someone play on YouTube, and I purposely started putting to cover some of the screen. I put solitaire on there because I couldn't watch the full screen.
you move the card.
Yeah, and then it's
Let's
just
see.
like just try and play.
How much is this bad boy? Let's
I'm
go.
not-
Let's
It's been
go
out
to the
for a
old Steam.
while.
I watched Hannah play Visage, and Hannah had the worst time with it.
Did
Mm.
she?
Yes. I've never seen her just get so panicky and freaking out. She's like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. It was like someone was peeling the skin off of her.
This was how old is it? Oh, 2020. That
Yeah,
an
it
older one.
was an early access game that got a full release.
$34.99 on Steam for Visage. I might jump in on this with the deck.
Ooh.
Go for him.
Bluetooth headphones is bad boy. Turn the lights off.
No, you should probably play it on PC first. Get like the full
Yeah.
big screen experience.
Widescreen monitor.
Visage.
Yep. And
Pal
make
was-
sure Pal's watching you play it too.
Make Pal play it.
I tried to get her to do Outlast. She won't do it.
Oh God.
There's no way Pal would do this. There's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah, no, it's already creepy. I'm just looking at the snow in the TV type of thing in this trailer. It looks creepy, but that's that. All right, boys, that's another episode in the can. So,
Ooh.
woohoos all around. This was episode 10. We made it to 10.
Mm.
And I haven't been fired yet.
You haven't been
Thank
fired
you.
yet. Well, if it makes you feel any better, we got one more episode left before you have that opportunity.
Ah.
So we got one more probably in the first half of November.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mhm.
I think we were all kind of in agreement, right? That we're going to kind of go separate ways until the new year and take our breaks and the holidays and all that kind of stuff.
Like I don't mind doing like a short episode like in December if like
I thought
there's, like,
I figured
big game breaking
Game
news.
Awards.
Yeah,
I think
figured
Game
we were
Awards would be a
gonna.
good
I
one.
figured we were gonna like lay off the podcast stuff, for the new because the scheduling was gonna make it difficult. Everyone's
Yeah.
on
Oh,
yeah.
vacation, people are going to family, and that was gonna make things difficult, and we knew that. So we figured, okay, well, we'll do some fun stuff. We'll watch like Game Awards and do something like that, or we'll play
Yeah.
like one of these new games that comes out, and
Yeah, I
Dill-
don't mind like putting a hold on podcasting and just do stuff where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
why don't we
fun
do some
content
other stuff
type
like
of
play
stuff.
games and
Yeah, that way,
other stuff.
fun content stuff that we can kind of do on a whim and not have to be, and then we don't have to worry about everyone being together to do it, like we can
Mhm.
do stuff. You and Dill can do stuff together, and Hannah and Lesh
Yeah.
and I and all that, so we can all do stuff like together and not all be in one thing because the podcasting is going to be difficult with everyone going on vacation
Yeah.
and holidays. So we figured that. So that being said, we got one more in November, and then we go on the break till the new year, and then there is one more Good People with Eric and Hannah before we go on for the new year. So, and then Hannah goes into labor in March.
Mm.
So, it's gonna be it's been a wild year.
Hmm.
On that note, gentlemen, it is that time. So we will see each other again very, very soon. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. That will be
Ooh.
November 5th.
November 5th.
Yeah.
And then
the
we
5th.
will.
That's
Is November a
bonfire
long
night.
month?
It's 30 days, but that's actually Guy Fawkes night for me.
Right. Because okay, so yes, the 5th is correct. We would come back the 5th, and we're off the 12th, and then by the 19th, people start leaving for holidays.
Yeah.
So that adds up right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, on that note, guys, everyone, I will see you guys all later. I've been Eric. We got Zenith down at the bottom. We got Dill. We appreciate all you hanging out. Again, you can watch these on YouTube. You can watch the VODs here on Twitch. You can listen to these on your podcast listening of choice. We appreciate it. I'm going to start sending out links, and we're going to start getting the TikTok and stuff up and running. I've got a whole pool of clips I've got to edit together and make some fun with. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of lewd stuff again next clip opportunity because
Morgan.
Morgan. So we'll be back. We'll be back soon. We'll talk about our Thanksgiving traditions. Do you have a Thanksgiving tradition? Not, you better start
don't
thinking of
celebrate
one.
it.
That's right. Oh, and then Canadian Thanksgiving's a completely damn different day.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
earlier
earlier
this month.
this month.
Wait, are we impeding on Canadian Thanksgiving by going on the 5th?
Missed it.
No, we had Canadian Thanksgiving on October 9th.
Oh, okay. You guys are a month off. Okay, you're over a
Yeah.
month off almost. Because I thought you guys were like a couple weeks earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry. You guys got to do everything all different. What the hell?
Hmm.
We
like
want
to be
our own
special.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, more like no Thanksgiving.
Just join the Cool Kids Club. Do it like we do. Be broke and fight for living wages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like ours in October because we don't have to be like, hey, everyone's thankful and grateful, and then the next day everyone kills each other over Black Friday deals.
Nice.
You'll be on that Black Friday website, though.
Shut up. With what money? With what money?
You're going to find a non-hackable Bluetooth speaker?
I might have already been looking at something like that.
Did he get
'Cause
you
I'm s-
again?
No.
Oh,
Oh, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I got lucky. They haven't done it just yet.
that's awesome. I want to meet this kid. I want to actually hire this kid if I ever get the opportunity to. I was like, I'm gonna purposely, if he ever listens to this, I'll be like, put it in your resume that you hacked Xena's Bluetooth, and whenever I find the resume, I'll be like, you're hired.
Yeah. But I have put like muted all sounds, so maybe that will do it.
Okay.
He's gonna hack that too. He'd be like, oh hell no. While he sips his yoo-hoo and eats his goldfish.
That maple syrup come off that pen.
Bastard. All right, guys. We'll see you all again soon. You guys have a great rest of your weekend.
You too.
All
And
right.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.